Content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I was going up the elevator with one of Paul's guys. I won't mention his name. Worried about our left tackle. Very concerned. And this is before practice. John writes in, and Paul will love this email. Are you guys only going to slam Drake Maye for 2 hours? He's been excellent every other day.
Throw that Fred mentioned earlier, the feathered throw to Stephon Diggs, right over Craig Woodson.
Kyle Williams, the fade one.
Perfect.
Did you see that one, Paul?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kyle Williams fade touchdown.
When they work in the
right there
in the red zone,
It's not that hard.
But it has Tony told me.
Who's Tony?
Maserati.
I wear glasses.
To see distance?
Yes. I mean, I wear contact lenses so I can see.
So then
Otherwise, I would walk
why
into
do you have
walls.
trouble seeing?
Because it's a long way away.
So why don't you use the binoculars?
I don't like binoculars. I like to see everybody. I don't want to just see the two guys that you can see in the binoculars.
That's not how binoculars work, Paul.
This email, though, he's right in, so we would stop talking about it. And now we're just going to double down on talking about Drake's day.
I just like I don't really have time for children.
Listen, size matters, okay?
All right.
Well, it does, and not enough players talk about, all of a sudden, I can't imagine going from college hockey to pro hockey, and the puck's a little bit longer now. I mean, mentally, I guess I'm saying more the physical aspect of just, are you ready to go chase
certainly
Tyreek
Miami can be taxing, and Massachusetts tax-free weekend is coming up.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and we're just off the practice field where the Patriots had a walkthrough in tennis shoes. So it was a light workout today. They're kind of, I think, treating today like a day before a game, because tomorrow they have an in-stadium practice for season ticket members and Foxborough residents, other VIPs, and that'll be sort of a mock game. They'll treat that like a game where they have the down a distance, the crew, the chain gang, referee. I assume, are they going to have referees tomorrow? I don't know about referees.
but
I don't know about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, but they'll try to simulate a game as much as possible. They'll have a halftime, in quotes, and come back out, offense, defense, and all that. So just to get ready for next week, because next week is the first preseason game.
Yeah, just like that. Joint practice is Wednesday. I mean, we'll get right after it. It feels like, in some ways, this is kind of the end of training camp portion, and we're going to get into the preseason next week. I don't know if that's a proper delineation, but
yeah. So it's Deuce, it's Paul. We'll be joined by Evan shortly. We'll be joined by Alex as well, and a special guest in our second hour.
I hope they're wearing white, because we look like we just came from a white party here with all the three of us.
Yeah,
our tight white shirts.
I don't have that kind of money.
We just coptered in from the Hamptons. Yeah.
Maybe you guys did.
All right, Rubin. So, like I said, today was just a walkthrough, so not much to really talk about today other than who was there, who wasn't there. But, good time to kind of recap the week maybe, and as we head into this stadium practice tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there's one headline is Matt Collins is back out, so that's a good sign, and looked like he jumped right in, and it was active. Played for Josh McDaniels and the Raiders, so we've all known that Josh has a plan for how he wants to use Matt Collins, and now we'll start to see how he fits into this loaded wide receiver room.
Yep.
Loaded,
well, with people.
Crowded.
With people. Crowded.
As in other teams.
How about a wide receiver room?
Yeah. I like the fact, and, Vrabel had his press conference yesterday. He talked about Carlton Davis, and he said he's on a plan, and he's out there today running with, the first team in the walkthrough. So that tells me that they wouldn't do that if he wasn't in the cards for a while.
Yeah.
So he'll be back sooner than later, I think. So I like seeing him out there doing the walkthrough with the other defensive players.
Yeah, interesting week for him next week. Just with the Commanders coming and joint practices, do they ramp up with him and let him compete against those guys, or is that a let's protect him? I don't think he'll play much in the preseason game, but
good point.
We'll see.
Because I don't even know why he's not practicing. I don't know what his deal is.
No, it's a little strange.
Yeah.
I mean, these things are always, you don't know exactly what the plans are, what injuries he might have had, but we've talked a lot about his situation, starting off on an FI, and then he's back, and we've only really seen him in walkthroughs now, so
I think it's 4 five of the last 7 practices he hasn't participated in. And the 2 that he did were both walkthroughs.
Right.
So whatever it is not overly serious, to Fred's point. But they're, to me, when you miss all of the practices, like right now, they're not monitoring Christian Gonzalez. We know he's dealing with something with his leg.
Right.
So to me, it's not just like Harold Landry he's getting monitored. He was given sort of like one of those veteran day offs yesterday. So I think there's a little bit back and forth. Do I think it's concerning? No. Until I find out otherwise, I'm not going to be concerned that Carlton Davis isn't going to be physically ready for the start of the season. But I do think it's a little bit more than just plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you miss that many practices is just part of a plan. Like Morgan Moses is out there every day. He's in and out of the team. That's a plan.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah.
You know?
Davis he's got something going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's on a plan to come back based on what that is. But I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, Bradbury.
Yeah, we saw the same line today with Ben Brown at center and Jared Wilson at left guard, who's the toast of the town for the moment, which is great. I mean, it's a great sign. Hopefully he is able to continue to improve and take advantage of all these reps he's getting, because right now it seems like they're settling in on the 5 that they like. I mean, we'll see how it affected when Bradbury does get back, but that might be the answer at left guard. That was one of the biggest questions we had coming into the season, and I didn't totally see Jared Wilson competing immediately for that spot. Thought he was more of a center, and maybe
I thought he'd be just waiting in line for center.
Yeah,
but
but
the fact they like
He's
him.
right in
No,
there.
they want to see him playing football on this team sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that they like him, and just listening to Caden Wallace talk about him yesterday, like I think that he's sort of made an impression. I have a question, Mike. I don't know if you were the one that brought this up. I feel like someone threw Cole Strange as sort of a surprise cut candidate a long time ago.
Yeah.
I now believe that Cole Strange is a surprise cut candidate.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a surprise.
I don't know how much of a surprise.
I
it
mean,
is,
I don't know.
really
You
is.
spend the
It's,
whole first week with the first group
Paul,
at
I
left guard,
think-
and then you're not on the team.
I think
that would be a surprise.
I think you could trade him for a second.
Maybe 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It might be the end. I mean, he's snapping now with the injuries that they had to Bradbury, and he's on the second team. So it's Brent Brown at the top, who had been really kind of the third string for a large portion of early reps. And yeah, Cole Strange probably just trying to find a way. Might take an injury. Looks like Caden Wallace now is elevated to that second left guard spot. So it seems very possible at this point, without injuries, and of course we still have a ways to go, that he could be on
and
that side
I'm
of the
not
field.
writing Cole Strange's roster spot off yet, because I think what they're doing right now, like I think Cole Strange is ahead of Caden Wallace at left guard. I think what they're trying to find out is if Cole Strange isn't starting at left guard, there's the value for him being able to play all 3 spots.
Backup center.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out if he can play center.
Yeah.
Because I think that they're a little concerned for some of the reasons that Evan has mentioned with Wilson at center, but not the least of which is he's had some issues with the exchange. So I think they're trying to figure out exactly what they have behind Bradbury at center, if need be. And if Cole Strange can't play multiple spots, then I think he has a chance to not be around.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to make the team as a backup interior lineman without having position flex. Like if you're locked in to one position on the interior line, it had to be a situation like Jared Wilson's a draft pick and is a top 100 pick, and they're going to keep him in the pipeline. And but it's hard if you're in year 3, 4, 5, and you come in and you really only can play left guard, or you can only play center. You don't see a lot of guys kept as like depth in that situation. And with Jared Wilson, I've thought that guard would be the easiest path for him on the field as a rookie. I think center is his best long-term position, just in terms of the mechanics of the line. But
Why do you think that?
Because center is a lot like Mike linebacker, where like it sets the pace of the offensive line. So like how much speed and range the line has, a lot of times can be dictated about like how athletic your center is. So when you have like a really dynamic athlete at center, it just allows you to do some things in space and outside zone screens, like things like that can be really dynamic. Like obviously the apex of it is Jason Kelsey, right? Like having a center like that who can really run almost, really helps you a lot. So having him at center probably makes him a little bit more dynamic in terms of that. But at left guard, all he's got to do is block the guy in front of him, right? He's not thinking about line calls, and he's not thinking about snapping, and he's not thinking about, are we in the right protection, or are we in the right, is the mic point set correctly here, and is it 3 down, is it 4 down, what are we calling this? Instead, you can just say, well, I got a guy lined up over me, and I'm going to block him. And that's pretty much
From what I heard, they certainly think that Wilson's a smart player. Like, he's got a high football IQ.
Yeah.
How common is that for players to maybe play one positional on the offensive line as a rookie and then eventually end up in another spot? Does that happen a lot? I mean, because people are still talking about Will Campbell could eventually end up at guard. So would it be weird to say in 2 years from now that Wilson's the center and Will Campbell's the guard, but they played their first year or two as the left guard and the left tackle? Is that strange? Does that happen
I think
often,
to have
or?
2 on the same offensive line is probably strange, but Evan would probably have more detailed experience off the top of his head. But I feel like there's a lot of guys that play different, a lot of times it's one side or the other.
Yeah.
A lot of elite left tackles, even the elite ones, played right tackle their rookie year. And then they move over. And there have been, like the Brandon Sheriffs of the world, I can never pronounce that name, who start at tackle and they end up at guard. So, I mean, I think there's probably a fair amount. But to have 2 guys on the same line, both change, is probably a little bit different.
I know that it's common. Guys just can't quite hack it at tackle, and they move inside. I think that's pretty common, but just generally, playing a left guard and then going to center, it's interesting to me. It's interesting.
I agree.
I
agree.
But
I
think
think a little different.
Yeah, but ultimately, you just want the best combination, that you can get. So, we'll see how it plays out this year.
Just how much of it is about, one, they just want Wilson out there to get the experience of playing and develop him, but also, 2, what do they feel about Cole Strange right now and where he's at? So, if they feel like Bradbury is their best center and they want to get Jared Wilson on the field, there's really only one way to do it, and it's to have him play left guard. So
it makes so much sense the way you laid it out. I mean, how perfect. Like, you don't have to put the mental load on him yet, but he's going to get used to playing. It's generally, a similar spot being inside. But yeah, interesting. I don't recall that happening a lot, but it seems to make a lot of sense that teams might want to do it.
And I know, I think sometimes we make too much of these kinds of things. I wouldn't completely rule out the fact that, this regime brought in Garrett Bradbury as a free agent. This regime drafted Jared Wilson, who they really like. The last regime brought in Cole Strange. Mm-hmm. So if you have the dilemma that Evan just unfolded for us, okay. It's not the worst thing to go with our guys.
Right.
And I think that does happen.
Sure.
Do we make too much of it at times? Yes. It's not like teams sit Tom Brady because he was part of the previous regime to play Mac Jones because he's our guy. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about situations that, it's 6-1, half dozen the other. I'm going to go with our guy.
Yeah, and
develop him.
it would also
In
cross over
multiple
the
spots,
scheme
really.
too, though. I know exactly what you're saying. Not just being the guy, but it might be, look, we brought this guy in because he can do what we want him to do, and these other guys aren't quite the fit schematically anyway.
Right.
It's not just a personal thing. It's really based in how they play.
It was a
feels like
different
that's
team back
happening
then.
all over the offensive line, like what Paul's saying. Like Layden Robinson and City So just not really in the mix at all with the top group. So those guys were drafted by Bill and drafted last year with Layden Robinson's case. Caden Wallace is now a guard to this coaching staff when last year they had even talks about him at left tackle, let alone, playing inside at guard. So it's just a lot of these guys that are holdovers, recent draft picks, it seems like they're kind of going with their guys, which is understandable.
Okay.
Good offensive line talk, Freddie.
Yeah.
go. 15
Wide
minutes.
receivers. From where you thought the room was stacked going into camp, has it changed in your mind?
No, I think it's just been kind of solidified to me, especially with Matt Collins coming back. I mean, I look at Booty, Hollins, Williams, Diggs, Douglas, that 5. And, Bourne, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, who's come on a little bit. I think that they're hanging on by their fingernails right now, and I don't think that they're off the roster. But those 3 guys might be maybe one spot for those three guys, but the top five I think are kind of cemented in my mind.
Yeah, I think right now it's just a question of outside receiver, X receiver. Like, how is that depth chart going to work itself out when you have Matt Collins comes back today and he's right in there, and then Kayshon Boutte's had a nice camp and he's involved, and Javon Baker's had a few flashes, and like that's sort of the three. Maybe Kyle Williams is part of that as well. So how exactly does that shake out? And I also can't help but when every practice notice Kendrick Bourne is just out of place with the guys that he's playing with. And what ends up happening with Kendrick Bourne, I think, is an interesting topic because they might prioritize some of the younger guys to develop those players. Kyle Williams, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, Efton Chisholm. Those guys might be more, if you're going to keep him as like the sixth receiver, you might want to keep a rookie that you're developing instead of a guy like Kendrick Bourne who kind of know who he is. So can they trade Kendrick Bourne? Is there something out there for him? Is it maybe Patriots trade a player that they don't really have a plan for another team's player that they don't really have a plan for, and that sort of trade? Every time I look up, I feel like Kendrick Bourne is playing with guys he doesn't belong with, and it stands out.
The way that Mike's put it, I would agree with, and maybe the one slight, very small surprise would be that Boutte has seemed to be so much ahead of Bourne. Not necessarily that they're the same spot, because Boutte's playing the X, and Bourne has done a little bit of everything. But it certainly seems that Boutte has established himself as, I'm with these guys over here, and as Evan said, Bourne's with the secondary guys. I wonder if maybe they have, I don't know how you guys feel. Do you think there would be any chance that you could get a guy like Bourne if you liked him but wanted to keep younger guys to develop, and maybe you wanted to get Bourne on the practice squad as a veteran for insurance? Like, right now, there's really no need for Bourne. But if Diggs gets banged up, do you want to put, like, Polk out there?
Yeah.
Right.
Or Kendrick Bourne out there?
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's a great point, I think, because I look at Kyle Williams as the young kid that we're going to have to get his feet wet a little bit. He's probably not going to be in every game, every down, certainly not. But how many of those young guys that are unproven do you want to handle? Do you want to give Javon Baker, Polk, like all those guys I'd see as in a similar bucket. But Bourne, you're totally right, Paul, is not in that bucket. He is an established receiver. If you had to throw him in there in a game, he'd be ready to go. So that might be an advantage for him that maybe he does stick around.
And Evan's trade possibilities to me, they would absolutely. I would rather trade him and get something for him than do that.
Yeah.
To just try to stash him on the practice squad.
Yeah.
I'm talking about rather than just let him go and lose him for nothing. I wonder if there's any chance that you could get him on the practice squad. Who knows?
It's a tough blow, though, too. I mean,
can't
just to
imagine
consider
there
putting a
is.
veteran on. That's a hard conversation, I would assume, to have. Having to put him down there.
But we've seen this with these new rules the last 4 or 5 years since the veterans have been eligible for the practice squad. Maybe not even that long. I don't know. It happens. Who was the guy that they did it to last year? They had a veteran receiver that they tried to the returner, Jalen Reagor.
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't work. I think the point that both of you guys are making, I think that's what their plan was to try to do that, and I think he bitched about it, and they ended up letting him go.
I mean, to be fair, Kendrick Bourne's a better player than Jalen Reagor.
Absolutely. I was just thinking in terms of a
Yeah.
veteran receiver who probably felt he was above that.
I just feel like it's tough. Like he's not subject to waivers, so like he's going to be a street free agent the second that they cut him, so he can sign with any of the 31 teams, and like he's a serviceable NFL receiver. I just can't imagine that he would make it to a practice squad. I feel like he would be able to sign with a team at some point. Your point about like having him as depth is good. I just, do you want to prioritize that over, like, I know Efton Chisholm is not your cup of tea, Paul, but like
Evidently he's not Mike Vrabel's either.
if they really see something in Efton Chisholm as a slot receiver of the future, like kind of like they saw with Edelman, where like it might take a couple of years, but eventually we are going to feel like this guy can play for us. If they really feel that way about Efton Chisholm, do you cut Efton Chisholm to keep a guy like Kendrick Bourne, who doesn't have long-term plans here in New England? And those are the tough decisions. Like, obviously, Efton Chisholm probably has a better chance of being on the practice squad, I would think.
Yeah.
Unless he has a preseason that he goes crazy in. But those are the conversations I feel like they're going to have is like, we have upside with Baker. We have potential upside with Chisholm. We kind of know what Bourne is. Do we want to keep these guys instead of him?
But I think even Polk and Baker could be practice squad guys too. I mean, all those guys I think would make it through, and it's just how, like you said, how do you stack it all up? What do you want? Insurance, what spot? So, yeah, But right now it seems pretty clear to me that you're going to roll.
I always
with
find it
those
fun
top five.
to play those games. Like, there's no answer. No one knows until it happens. But we all say, no way he's getting through it.
Yeah.
Like I would probably say Polk as a second-round pick. Someone might say, no, we kind of liked him. We thought there was something there.
Yeah.
He could use a change of scenery. Whereas Baker, I think probably he was red flagged by a lot of teams coming out of the draft that year. I think a lot of people probably weren't interested in him. And if he gets released right away, they're probably going to say, well, see, that's why we weren't interested in him in the first place. He flamed out already.
That's what's interesting, though, is I still feel like Javon Baker's got this ceiling out there that's mysterious ceiling because he's got athletic talent.
And you guys are right. He's made a few plays the
he
last
has.
couple of days.
I mean, honestly, through the first few days, it felt like, oh man, even through OTAs and minicamp, like he didn't seem like he was getting out of that hole. But credit to him, he's made some plays, and hopefully he's been performing behind the scenes as well. But Polk's a second-round pick.
Stacking
Baker's
days,
got a ceiling.
Stacking days. They're out there every day now.
Yeah.
That's good for these receivers. They need to be out there. Obviously, Polk got a slow start, but he's been in pads every day, and that's the only way that these guys are going to carve out a role for themselves.
Those are the guys in joint practice, I feel like, that will have real opportunity to get a lot of reps. I don't think they're going to run digs out there very much against these guys, certainly not in the preseason. So this will be the stuff to watch in the preseason. This is probably where these questions will be answered.
But I think you're right to focus on the joint practice, because the preseason game, I think we get lost in that because it's flashy and listen, it's my time to shine.
game.
I'm not dismissing preseason games.
Yeah.
Put some stuff on
In the
tape.
Bob's
actually,
Discount
go
Furniture
Right. But I think it's
studio.
much more important for those guys to show and get opportunities
yeah.
in the joint practice, because I do think they'll run digs out there in the joint practice
Oh, yeah.
with the first group. I think those guys are going to be out there like we see every day now.
Yeah.
But do the other guys get a chance, and when they do they make the most of the opportunities?
Maybe it's just my draft take that I won't let die with Javon Baker. Like, I like Javon Baker coming out, and I was really excited when they drafted him. But to Deuce's point about, like, he makes some plays where it's just like specimen type plays, like where he's just blowing past the defense and catching that touchdown from Drake Maye earlier in the week, or he high pointed one in the red zone where he went to level 10 and the corner only could get to 7, and he was just exactly on his head. And that's exactly what you see from him, and it's just consistency and like buy-in and just being a pro and like being able to do it every single day. And like, if that can click for him, he's got so much talent. Like, he has so much raw talent, and his skill set is so different than some of the other guys that they have. Like, he's a much different mover than like Kayshon Boutte. Like, he's got those long strides, and he's got some deep speed, and he's
acrobatic.
Right. And or Kyle Williams, who's smaller and more slighter. So if he can just like tap into it and just harness it a little bit, I feel like he's got the potential to be an NFL player.
The being a pro part that Evan brings up is why I brought up the consistency factor. He's been out there every day. We haven't really heard from him. I think he's gotten better as the camps that have gone on. There haven't been these peaks and valleys that we saw a little bit of last year. I think he's generally been on the rise. Now, we'll see if he can continue it. I know that there's probably listeners like, oh, here they go. They're talking about these wide receivers again that we haven't really ever seen do anything in games. You're right. They have to.
That's why we're here, to tell you what happened in practice.
They have to show you that they can do it every day, not just once in a while. But I do think this first week of camp for Javon Baker has been better than last year.
Yes.
In terms of his consistency.
Yeah, his size and speed is just different. Like, they don't have a guy that has that exact combination of like 6'1", 6'2" with a 4 or 5. Like, that's not Kayshon Boutte. That's not Kyle Williams. I mean, Matt Collins is his own thing. So I won't give up. I won't give up hope on Javon Baker.
We've mentioned it several times in this show, the comments that Elliott Wolf made after the end of last season, he was obviously referring to the wide receivers when he said this. We hope that they would get more support than they did. And he's referring to the coaching. That's a significant thing for a GM to say. So you wonder how much influence he has on the decision that's coming up. No, this guy Baker can be a player.
Yeah.
Polk, if he can be, you wonder
Yeah.
because those were his picks.
This kind of along those lines, I thought it was interesting. Drake was on NFL Network yesterday, and he was asked about Pop Douglas. And the first thing he said was, like, he's lining up in the right spots.
I heard that too.
And, that to me just really stood out. And it was something that we were critical of
Really
Pop
stood
Douglas
out to
for.
me, too.
And I like, that Drake is kind of taking ownership and leadership and calling guys out a little bit, but also great for Pop, that we knew that was something he was going to have to improve on with Josh McDaniels and his system and needing to be a little bit more cerebral. So I think that was just a cherry on top of a really solid start for Pop.
We always knew he was a weapon. Now he can, be
a super weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the cerebral is a good word for it. Like, I remember last year, Drake had him on like a slant, and they just missed it. And if he had caught it in stride, he was gone. And after the game, everybody was blaming Drake for missing the throw and whatever. And Alex Van Pelt said at the time that like Pop ran the route at 5 steps and it was supposed to be at 7 or like something like that. Like it was like a route
I
depth
vaguely remember that.
thing. And it's like that's such a minutia thing. And at the end of the day, like it's a wide open receiver. You probably should have put it on him anyways. Like everybody's kind of to blame there. But like if that's the difference between Pop being just a nice third receiver and then like an 1,000-yard receiver, I don't know, but maybe it is. Like maybe that is the next step for him, is having it up here and being able to think the game as well as the physical attributes.
Yeah. All right, 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the way to email us. Again, Alex will be here soon. Where is she?
Yeah, well,
by
she
the
was
way?
out. She was out front. She was like shooting a thing with Jack. They were working on something, so I don't know. Maybe she got a little tied up. I'm not
Okay, but she'll be here, and then we'll have possibly a special guest in the second half. Yeah,
Possibly.
I'm getting a thumbs up from Alex in the booth. So very special guest.
Very, very special.
Very special
Who's
guest.
going to be very excited to be here.
Yes, the person will be very excited to be here.
I could throw out another position group. Maybe we did a solid 20 minutes there on receivers. But Evan and I are talking a little about the safety position, where it seems like Duggar and Peppers certainly are right back in the middle of that. But it still seems like they're trying to figure out the rest of that rotation and how it's going to go between Jalen Hawkins and Marcus Epps and even the rookie Craig Woodson, who really haven't seen a lot of him with the top group. But otherwise, it feels like that third safety spot and that role is really open. I think Jalen Hawkins might be in it right now. But just a significant role that we've talked about a lot that still seems to be up in the air, when I feel like after a week and a day, things have settled for me a lot across the roster. Injuries have complicated the cornerback position, but and somewhat the offensive line position. But overall, I think that's one of the few positions where I still kind of feel like there are some questions about how it's all going to shake out. And an admittedly smaller role. It's not a starter role necessarily.
It's an important role though, because it puts everybody in the right spots. Like if you have to have, we've seen it. Like if you have Duggar or Peppers playing 25 yards off the ball, it's just not where they're best utilized, playing in the deep part of the field. It just makes it a lot better if they can have somebody be, we always like call out Daron Harmon, right? Like can you just be Daron Harmon,
Closer.
I'm not asking you to be like, a 10-time All-Pro, but like just play the role well, be in the right places. It's not, it's a small role in terms of snaps maybe, but I think in terms of game leverage, it's important because it's third down. It's fourth quarter, got to have it situations.
Yeah,
it's
you're right.
like, okay, we're up 3, the 2-minute drill is on, the opponent has the ball, they're driving down the field. Like, how are we going to close this game? How are we going to win this game? And those moments are huge. And like, how many times did Daron Harmon make a pick at those exact moments throughout his career? Where the ball
Usually
just
deflected off of
the
somebody
ball
else,
just
but
kind of
that's
like
all right.
kind of a deep ball that
Right
kind of
spot,
just
right
went
time.
right to
That's
him.
right.
And those plays like that helped. That Chung was in the box and McCourty was playing robber and Harmon was over the top, and they just knew where everybody was. And this group needs to find that. They're spinning the wheel a little bit there. They're trying to find who it's going to be. you can see it. Like every practice is somebody different.
Based on the spring, I thought Woodson was really making a push, and I would agree that I haven't seen the same kind of push since training camp has started. Today, when they went with dime looks, it was Hawkins with those guys, and I do agree. There's a sneaky importance to it because I think they had in the dime it was 3 corners, 3 safeties. I don't think maybe you can make the argument that if Gonzalez is there, that's, because he's not part of it today. So maybe you could go with an extra corner, but now you're wondering, like, is Marcus Jones, can he play back there? Is he big enough? I know he's rangy enough. He's got obviously the athleticism to play back there. But I do wonder, how they feel about that. Marcus Epps has flashed a little bit at times, I think, during camp. I think there are different options, but someone is going to need to solidify that role. I do think it's sneaky important. And to Evan's point about them spinning the dial, watching some of the position drills, I've seen Isaiah Bolden with the safeties almost as often as I've seen him with corners. Yeah. So I do wonder if they're looking – that's another guy with tremendous speed, by the way. Yep. Wonder if they're just continuing to look for options.
Yeah, we're getting to the point now in practices where I'm starting to really kind of lock in on the special teams periods just to see how they view the depth chart for special teams and what guys.
I didn't have to watch. I knew Mike was going to have me on that.
Who's going to be the
up back. It's always a nice way to find the 52nd and 53rd guy that's going to make the team. Well, who's the guy that's on 4 different special teams units?
Yeah, who saw Del Pettis last year coming?
That's when I told you guys this morning about Jaheim Bell and the observation I made about Bell. I figured for sure you guys would be all over me for that. Yesterday, they closed practice with kickoffs yesterday.
Yeah.
And they did one, and then Chatham was one of the guys that was in there. And the next rep, they had the same 10, only Jaheim Bell replaced Chatham. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe they have something in mind for
53
Bell.
man.
All right, let's get to the phones and the emails. We'll start with Emery in Virginia. What's up, Emery?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, Emery.
Hey, listen, I just wanted to some comments in regards to the wide receiver group. I just think the fans need to relax. During our Super Bowl runs and stuff, we never really had what you call a super bona fide number 1 receiver, not including Randy Moss. We didn't even win the Super Bowl with Randy Moss. We had guys like Troy Brown, Given, Patton, Branch, Edelman, Amendola, Hogan, Mitchell, and Brandon LaFell. Now, I know Edelman, he turned out to be a very, very good and probably going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But he developed here. And we had a great quarterback. We had very good coaching. And we had competent guys that went out and won Super Bowl. So I just think we just need to chill with this, like we got to have a super duper number 1, No, let's get some competent guys out there who know how to play football. Let Brady and his staff coach him up, and let's go win another Super Bowl.
Yeah,
thank you guys for listening.
Okay, thanks, Emery. I mean, Emery mentioned Tom Brady.
I agree with all of that.
Yeah. Tom Brady.
Don't know if we have it.
I think you don't need a superstar with Tom Brady. And he's right. If you have a good quarterback and competent, smart receivers, know their role, do it well, you can get by. But it helps to have that one guy that opens it up.
I just don't know if you can get by.
And we saw what happened once they finally did.
I would also say from 2007 to 2019, they had a Hall of Famer as his lead receiver.
Well,
Moss and
including
Gronk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy to say he got by with less.
Right.
Well, he kind of really didn't.
Yeah.
Early, as Evan said, early in his career when you didn't really have to throw the ball to win, Troy Brown was the number 1 guy who probably wasn't a Hall of Fame caliber receiver. He was pretty good, but he was his number 1 guy. And then Corey Dillon ran the ball for 8,000 yards, and that's how they won. And they had great defense. You don't really win that way anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you need, like, Jamar Chase level receiver.
No.
Like, it doesn't have to be the best receiver in football, but I mean, you always look at last year's Super Bowl champ. Like, they have 2 receivers. Yeah. That might be the best receiver here if they were on the Patriots roster. So I think it's a different game than when Brady first started out. And then then Brady became Brady, and it's like, well, then you have Tom Brady, right? So, like, Yeah, Tom Brady can drive Campbell Hopkins and Austin Collie and Aaron Dobson down the field to a game-winning touchdown, but I would like to hope that we don't expect Drake to do that.
Yeah.
So I just think it's tough to. I like am in the middle of what Emery is saying.
I agree with everything
I don't think
Emery
you need
said.
to have superstar receivers everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I agree with
think
everything
you need to
you
have
said.
Well,
good receivers.
Two points. First of all, I mean, Stephon Diggs looks like the best receiver that we've had in these parts since when? Like, who was
Prime Edelman.
Like, Prime Edelman.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate the call from Emery, but, we're not quite in the depths quite as we've been the last couple of years.
But
And
that's what he's saying.
Yeah, well, I know, and that's but point out Diggs looks good. Diggs looks ready to go. And
Diggs has looked good.
My second point is Drake May's look really good. And so if Drake May picks up this offense and knows what he's doing, which he looks like he does, and looks like he is ready to take a jump in his second season, it matters a whole lot less. So you're fighting it on both ends. Your quarterback's going to be better, and you've got a better receiver. So I'm optimistic about this offense, and Drake especially. Drake can take us if he keeps playing like he's been playing. He's going to.
I agree with everything Emery said, and he was like, they don't need this, they don't need that. They just need a bunch of competent. I would agree with everything. I just don't know if they have that. I'm waiting to see if they have that. I think Diggs is that. I'm waiting to see about all the rest of the guys. I don't even know who they're all going to be.
Yeah.
But yes, you can get. But Brandon LaFell was a very valuable player for them. I don't know if they have a Brandon LaFell.
Right.
But Brandon LaFell was playing off Gronk. He was playing off Edelman. Like
Correct.
he was the third or
No, but
fourth fiddle.
My point being is, I like what Keyshawn Boutte has done in a week of camp. Can he be Brandon LaFell? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other part.
And
of
I
it's-
know what Evan's saying, like, it was easier for LaFell because he had so much other stuff around him.
Yeah.
But I don't know what these guys are unproven.
Right, and we can never forget that it's not always just a wide receiver. It's the number one tight end. That's what Gronk was. He was a number one too. So maybe that's something that develops along the
When
way.
you're talking offense and you're talking the dynasty, it's hard to make comparisons because Tom Brady skewed everything. He skewed everything. So you have to start with, okay, you don't have Brady.
Right, but the core is still, and this is what we've been looking for, look for the quarterback. If you have the quarterback, you're going to be in the mix. He's going to help you win some games. And then, you start to stack around him, and, then Drake starts to hold guys accountable, and then those guys start to hit that next level. That's the hope. It's not all going to happen this year, but for me, this second year of Drake, it looks like it's headed in a really positive direction, and that this kid looks like he gets it, and that's the best sign of all. I'd rather have that than have this amazing wide receiver here, and Drake's out there throwing picks every other throw.
Like Malik Neighbors in New York.
Is that what's going on?
But I would just say too, like, I don't want to downplay what Diggs looks like so far in these practices, because I think I said this yesterday on Catch 22. Like, dude, the Patriots might have a fantasy relevant receiver for the first time in like half a decade.
Sure.
Like if you're drafting for fantasy, like Diggs is a legitimate person to draft in a fantasy draft now. I don't know if the last time they had that.
Nate in Connecticut's on the line. What's up, Nate?
Hey guys, can you guys hear me well?
Yep.
Yeah.
So first, I just want to say I apologize for not calling in.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
I was thinking about that, Nate.
Yeah, we were all worried.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was at another lacrosse camp.
last camp.
Nice.
How'd you do?
I thought I did pretty well. We had a lot of PLL guys. It was a PLL camp.
Oh.
So
Okay.
got to sit down, take some pics, and get some signed lacrosse balls. That was really cool. But yeah, the main reason why I called in, I want to talk about the Madden ratings. So I know Will
It's all
Campbell
Paul.
is
gonna say, I'm out.
79, fourth highest rookie. And Gonzo is a 95.
It's ridiculous.
Second highest rated corner in the game. What are your thoughts on the overalls and where they stand? Do you think Gonzo's? In my opinion, I think Gonzo's rate perfectly fine. But I know the quarterback position is a very competitive position with a lot of guys. I think
Yeah, I did see that. Gonzo's second highest rated corner in the game, I think, behind Patrick Surtain, which is
Thanks, Nate.
pretty crazy. I mean, he was a second team All-Pro, so he's right in the running there. And
Checks all the boxes.
I appreciate Madden, though, when it comes to corners. not putting any respect on zone corners. Like, do that on your own time. Like, oh, I'm just going to play the deep third on my side of the field. Like, cool. Yeah. Our guy, he shadows people, okay? He takes the number 1, he travels. He goes in the slot, 0 goes in the slot with him.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot harder than you're playing your zone drop over there. So, good on Madden for that.
Me and Evan were walking behind Gonzo a few days ago. I'm like, I've seen him before, but like, he's a specimen. Like, he's just the perfect kind of cornerback build. I mean, I think he's listed at like 6'1", but he seems bigger than that to me. I mean, he's still a young kid, so I think he's filling out more, and that's what kind of struck me.
I think he put on some bulk.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
from last season to this season.
He looks good. He looks good.
I don't have anything to confirm that, but
you don't have anything to add about the Madden ratings?
No, Paul. What did you think? You were pretty upset about him.
I couldn't have any less to add about the Madden ratings. It'll never cease to amaze me people's fascination with uniform numbers, uniforms in general, and Madden ratings.
So do you want the top 5 here? I'll give you 5. I'll stop at 5. Patrick Surtain, number 1, 97. Gonzo, number 2. Sauce Gardner, number 3. Trent McDuffie, number 4. Jalen Ramsey, number 5. Derek Stingley, number 6.
McDuffie. Is he one of the ones that got away?
Gardner, please.
Was that the Cole Strange year? Was he one of the ones that?
Yes. They
the
passed,
original draft
they passed
pick
on him.
Was
the trade down.
Yeah.
I remember at the time of the draft, Trent McDuffie went with the Patriots' original selection, and there was like a mix-up with the call line, and like at first it got reported that the Patriots drafted Trent McDuffie, but it was actually the Chiefs that drafted Trent McDuffie with the Patriots pick.
Right.
Tough one.
Brad's in Ohio. Hey, Brad.
How you guys doing today?
Okay.
Hey, Brad.
All right, it's good talking to you. I want to just, I agree with the caller about the receivers, too, like you all did. I think he's spot on with that. And so I just wanted to give him a shout-out.
Okay.
And then I think that we should I think what's going to happen with our receiver room, that we're going to keep more receivers than we typically would, simply because we have a lack of tight end depth, and we lost that fullback, which is not, that really hurts our offense. I agree with Evan and all of you. We need a fullback.
Not all of us.
With Josh McDaniels. So what do you guys think about that, keeping more receivers based on the fact that we don't have depth in other areas that, are attributed to substance types too?
Yeah.
Bruce, I feel like we were talking about that a little
Thanks,
bit
Brad.
in practice. Like if it comes, another guy that was noticeably with one of the groups today, the top group was Land Larison. They gave him maybe a little bit more reps today. And like, would you rather keep Land Larison, who's flashed a little bit and shown some potential, over one of these third tight ends who hasn't really done the same thing, just because it's a tight end versus a running back? You know?
I would rather keep the better player. And to answer the question, whatever amount of receivers they're going to keep, I don't think is going to vary. I mean, I don't know if they're going to keep 6, 7, 4. I don't know what they're going to keep for receivers, but I think it's a dangerous game to get into. Well, you only have two tight ends, so let's keep 8 receivers. And no, you got to find the best players that you have available. Land Larison, to me, today took Antonio Gibson's spot, who wasn't out there.
Yep.
If they think he's one of the best players, I'm all for keeping Land Larison. If they think Jalen Polk is better than Land Larison, and you want to keep a 7th receiver or Efton Chisholm, whoever, then I would keep Efton Chisholm.
Yeah,
I think that's what needs to be, especially with young guys. It's like Larison Chisholm. To me, that's a direct comparison. The 2 young guys, you got to decide which guy you want to develop the most, that you have the most faith in being able to develop.
Yeah.
So of all the positions, if you had to say, okay, and you can only pick one, this is the position where we're going to keep an extra player than we normally do, what position would you do right now?
Offensive line.
Yeah, I was just going to say maybe
I think
tackle.
I would be leaning there too.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah, if not cornerback.
Plus, you get like the extra spot on game day too. If you carry the extra active player on game day, you get 47 instead of 46.
Yeah.
So offensive line.
I just think it's unlikely that all the receivers that we have right now are just so good that we have to keep an extra one.
No.
So you keep an extra one just to have an extra one now. If you do get hit with injuries, you could probably just pick up somebody off the street.
One of those guys is probably
right.
going to be available. I mean, let's
on the practice squad.
let's look at it from a really objective spot here. By most of these metrics, the Patriots wide receiver group is considered to be bottom 5. So do you really think there's going to be a lot of clamoring to pick up the guys that couldn't make you a bottom 5 receiver group? You're probably going to be able, as Evan just said, to put these guys on the practice squad and then have them at your disposal if you need them.
Or they get the flu.
Right.
You know?
Well, and
If they get the flu, then you can't use them.
Later on.
the front office and the coaches know a lot more about these players than we do. We only see them on the field. They see them behind the scenes. And it's questions like, do you feel like Javon Baker is going to suddenly hit that potential? And we just can't give up on him yet. He's got too much potential, and it's such a valuable position.
Yeah.
You know, we invested. Maybe the scouting staff is looking at Jalen Polk saying, we still really love this kid. We drafted him, and it goes back
And
a little
I'm all
bit
for
to
keeping
previous
an extra
regime.
one if they feel like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I look at it like, I feel like there's like a group of 4 receivers that are all kind of in the same boat. And it's not so much that I think that they're all so talented that we have to keep them all. I just don't know which one's the right one to keep.
Me too.
So it's just like, if you just keep as many as you can, then maybe like you just throw those blind darts and eventually one of them hits, like sort of thing. Like to Deuce's point, like they know which one to keep, you would like to think, but they make mistakes all the time when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
All the time.
you know,
I like Deuce's analysis there though. Like if they feel like these guys I still don't know enough yet, I'm not ready to pull the plug. By all means, keep an extra one. It was Brad, right? I think Brad wanted to keep, was thinking about maybe they'll keep an extra one. By all means, don't discard a guy that you still believe in because you think the roster needs to be, constructed a certain way. And plus, we all know this happens a million times. What you see on September 7th is not what you're going to end up seeing for the balance of the season.
Right.
It's going to change.
Especially at a position like wide receiver where you're searching, and sometimes that does happen. Offensive line, we all talked about keeping an extra guy, and I'll use this as a transition to talk about a guy Truman Jones, who Evan and I both clocked yesterday. Not a lot of reps, but every now and then he's popping in there. Really thin overall in the edge depth, and he's a guy that was around last year, but do you give up on edge rushers early?
I have to admit. I need to be up on the high.
It was on the
perch,
on the high. It was on the far
I must have been in the far end. I didn't have Freddie's binocs.
But it wasn't anything big, Paul. It was just
I haven't really
it was
seen
like
him.
a couple reps at the start, and then Anthony Jennings comes in, and it's like, well, are they just saying, hey, cup in there, get a little, get your feet wet, or is it this kid's pushing? Let's give him a couple reps. See how you don't know.
Probably the
you
latter.
just don't know. So just to see him
He
out there,
was,
these are the things that you clock when
this
you're
is like a glass half full, glass half empty thing for Deuce, because he was giving his boy Trey Jacobs the business a little bit yesterday in practice, especially in one-on-ones. Jermaine Jones got him twice, and one with like a really good spin move, put him right in the spin
He's
cycle.
smart too. He went to Harvard.
He did go to Harvard. I mean, edge depth, we talked about that too. Chazon looks like he's a player. Looks like they might have hit on him. Landry, I think, is going to be solid. Keon White's going to be out there. But Swinson, Ponder, maybe Truman Jones is in that conversation too. Like, who's the 4th guy? Who's going to be the extra guy they keep?
I got a way too early question. Like, this just popped into my head with Chase on. Is I know the Patriots are sitting on, still have a bunch of cap space at least. Like, do you look at extending somebody at some point? They have that money. Do you identify a player like Chase on and feel like, man, it's really clicking for him at a high value position that we need to ensure long term? He's still a young guy. To someone like him who's only here right now on a 1-year deal, do they, maybe make a move, something like that?
Ellen, Wisconsin writes in, so I'm not going to go crazy. It's week 2 of training camp, but it really feels like this is the first time in 5 years that it looks like they've had an NFL offense. Don't know how good it will be, but at least NFL caliber seems like a huge jump. What are your thoughts?
I'm assuming we mean since 2021. Is that 5 years?
Yeah.
I don't know. Time flies.
Ish, 4.
Yeah.
It does.
I'm optimistic. I haven't seen that yet, though. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I was not optimistic at this time last year.
No, neither was I. And then you were really not optimistic when the Eagles came in here. So get a lot of information next week with the Commanders. Are the Patriots able to make some plays, take some plays. Like, I think that last year Eagles joint practice sums it up perfectly for me because it felt like the Eagles just overwhelmed them. I think Patriots made some plays on the defensive side of the ball, but offensively, they couldn't even run their offense. So let's get into that Wednesday practice next week. See, I'm sure the Commanders will make some plays, I'm sure, but can the Patriots continue to punch back, bounce back? That's one thing I've really liked about Drake Summer is that if he's had a day where he was a little off like a couple days ago, didn't really seem to affect him, came back, continues to be effective, and continues to not throw interceptions, which, let's face it, that was the buzzword for all of us all offseason about Drake. So that's, to me, is just a tangible, great sign of a guy who needed to cut down on the turnovers. That's what he's doing in camp. We'll see if it translates, but that's all you can ask of him at this point.
Let's see. Tyler writes in from South Carolina. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the linebacker room. Seems like we've solid depth on the defensive line, but how do we feel about depth at linebacker? You guys have mentioned if Spillane goes down, that could really be a major hit to the team. Has there been any other players to step on training camp so far? Jack Gibbons, Christian Ellis. Also, would love to hear your thoughts about the cornerback room. Who do you guys think will make the 53-man roster in that room?
Jack Gibbons put Len Larison into next Wednesday yesterday, and that was fun to watch. So that was cool. It was the first time I feel like I've noticed Jack Gibbons, and that doesn't mean that he hasn't done anything, but I just the first real flash of like, okay, there he is. So Christian Ellis and Robert Spillane right now at Tavai, not practicing, are your top two linebackers pretty consistently every practice. So I think those two guys are there. Jack Gibbons seems like a nice third linebacker, core special teamer type that will be in the mix as well. And then we have the experiment of Marte Mapu at linebacker going on too. So that's been like your top four in these practices so far.
I kind of wish you had a guy like Gibbons last year. I mean, look, there's going to be a huge drop-off if Spillane went down, but I feel like he at least has the experience and the smarts. I have real questions about Christian Ellis and exactly, last year felt like he was thrust into playing a full-time role on defense. He's primarily been a special teamer. He's been a key piece right next to Robert Spillane for most of this camp. I mean, is he ready to take a jump? Is he ready to really blossom in this offense? I know he can run. He's got speed. But last year it was choppy. I don't think anybody would have come out of the end after the last game last year and been like, that's a guy we need to hold on to on defense. And so that to me a little bit interesting.
I knew one person, but
was it Alex Barth?
So
I'm interested to see how that all fits together and if Ellis is able to really complement Spillane. But it all starts with Spillane. He is now your guy in the middle, making the calls, setting the tone, and hopefully making the plays. And he's been really active all camp.
Pete in Seattle writes in, we all agree that Bradbury is a below-average center, especially when it comes to pass protection. That said, PFF ranks him as an above-average run blocker in 24 with the Vikings. Evan and Barth spoke yesterday on Catch 22 about how good a run game can help pass protection. My question is this. Given that the Vikings in 24 had a stationary quarterback in Bradford and were a very pass-heavy offense.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Who's not a stationary quarterback.
Yeah,
Continue.
I was thinking of Bradford. And that the 25 Pats will have a run-heavy offense with a mobile quarterback. Is it fair to think that the 25 Patriots might be a much better fit for Bradbury's skill set at center?
I think that's a long way
to grandma's house.
Yeah, but what I like about Brad, I like his athleticism. That was the thing that got him drafted. Was very highly athletic center, and because of that, it translates to probably the run game a little bit better because he can get out and move and make blocks on the move. But what I like about Bradbury is the experience. I think this is a guy that you can trust. He's a steady, experienced veteran, and I think that's going to go a long way if you have two rookies starting and a lot of new faces on that offensive line to begin with. A second-year quarterback, it helps to have a center that's year 7 in the league and has seen everything and knows what he's looking at. So I don't really have very many big concerns about Bradbury. I think Bradbury is going to be fine for them. It's also it's a center, and that's a piece of it too. But I think he's going to be okay.
Deshaun's in Virginia. Hey, Deshaun.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, I just want to talk to a few things. The first thing is, I feel like as long as they pick the right receiver that's been playing in practice so far, and they're competent enough, and I think with Drake May's playmaking ability will elevate those guys along. I feel like the offense be much better, especially with Dr. Dennis calling it, going along with Jake May's playmaking ability, excuse me.
Yeah.
Then when it also comes to the calling about the Madden thing or whatever, I think that Gonzo eventually is going to be like the very best corner because
99 club.
Because
That's where we're
the
going.
corners, he hasn't had a package to benefit
Can't
from.
wait.
Unlike the other corners have. And he's still been standing on business. Then the last thing I want to touch on, I see just report saying that the judge made the right move by selecting Membu. I don't want to put the name, I think the team is. And they're talking about Will Campbell being a problem right now. Texas camp is all what they're hearing. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Thanks, Deshaun.
Can you get all that?
I didn't get the last
Virtually
part.
none.
I heard Will Campbell.
Well, you got the Will Campbell part, and I mean, it's probably worth talking that he got beat a couple times to the inside, both in one-on-one drills as well as in team drills. And to me, it was obvious because everyone talked about it. And how often do you watch an offensive line and everybody sees exactly what happened and what the problem was? And to me, like that, he just has to improve on that stuff. I don't know how you connect it to. If he had an extra inch, he wouldn't get beat to the inside. And I know we get into he's oversetting and all this stuff.
It's all about speed.
There it is. It's on tape. Put it up. You can't get beat like that. And that's an S that gets you beat play, right? Like that's an S that gets you beat. That can't happen. So if it continues, then you have a problem. But I don't want to get too crazy. But it was so obvious to everybody watching how cleanly he got beat to the inside. So it's got to be fixed, and I refuse to believe that that's something they're like, nope, that's just how it is. He can't. That's always how it's going to be. He's never going to be able.
It's got to be fixed. You can't have that. But he's adjusting to the speed right now. It's all about speed. It's not like he doesn't have the ability to be a good tackle. He's getting beat because he's just not getting to his spot quick enough.
Well, it's the same way he was getting beat in college. Like it depends on who you ask, right? If you ask, I talked to Duke Manyweather, who's worked with him all offseason. Duke will tell you it's footwork, right? It's footwork and just body positioning,
Yep.
and where he is opening his hips and where his feet are and things like that. The naysayers with Will Campbell will tell you it's arm length. And the big thing with the arm length is that when speed rushers are coming off the edge to him, he needs to set aggressively out to them, because he can't reach to get them. So, he has to get out there to get his hands on them. And when he does that, he's overcompensating,
I know,
and then he's being
look
to the
when you
inside.
see, and before we go any further, he's not getting beat on every play. But when he does get beat, you really think 1 inch more of an arm is going to make a difference?
I don't
really.
No,
Can I just offer something? You're not looking at it the right way at all. Evan just explained it, I think, perfectly. If you are concerned about your ability to reach, you're cheating. That's why he's getting beat to the inside, say the naysayers. I don't want to say what we're saying because I'm not Dante Scarnecchia. I do not break down the film at an expert level to understand. But what people are considering, and this is what happened to him in college, is that he knew that he didn't have the reach. So he often would overcommit with his set and get beat to the inside. That is about arm length.
Yeah, I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine. I'm not telling you that it is or isn't because I'm not qualified to tell you if it is or isn't.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about his arm length. Other people might be.
Okay.
But I don't think
it's
he
that
is.
he's worried about arm length. I just think that's the physical limitation that he's working against.
That's my point.
But honestly, again, when you look at it, do you think 1 inch would make a difference?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, can he just stop oversetting? Can he stop oversetting? Can that be the coaching
okay,
point?
but then
I don't know.
If he oversets, then the guy to the outside, he's not going to be able to get his hands on the guy. So then the guy is just going to go around his corner.
But the way you're describing it is there's no answer, and this is just how it's always going to be.
We don't know that. I think Evan and I are very quick to say we don't know that it's not fixable.
I think it's fixable.
Well, he's not going to grow arm length, so he either has to stop oversetting, or
I think the fixable
it's
thing
going to be
is
an expressway through the the C gap.
I think this is why the naysayers want him to play guard. And I'm not saying that that's me. I'm saying naysayers because I don't agree with those people all the time about it. But I think with Will Campbell, I'm with Deuce. I would tell him he's got to be a little bit more patient. And the main thing is trust your feet.
Yeah,
he has great feet. He's a really good athlete. Yeah. He's really smooth. So just take a second, like sit back for just a half a second longer and react to what the rusher is where he's going.
Right, react.
Right. Instead he's trying to, because he's got awesome grip strength, so he's just trying to get his hands on the guy and win the rep immediately. Like just end it and shut it down. And because of that, he's getting overextended. Yeah. And when he gets overextended, they go back inside.
So I mean, it sounds.
And that would be the way to fix it,
right? And is this like a habit? Like this is just something that they have to.
But it's not a new. It's not a new habit that developed in the NFL.
Right. No, I
and
know.
that's why I think
you
it's
can get
reckless.
away with it more in college.
But that's why I think it's reckless to suggest that it has nothing to do with it. That it's not a mental thing with him. He's been doing it since he was at LSU. That was one of the red flags on him, and that's why some people felt he was a guard. Because they felt like he had to overcommit, which allowed him to be susceptible to that inside move.
Yeah.
I don't know if he doesn't overcommit. If he can handle the outside speed rush, we'll find out.
Yeah, it's funny, like, because the first time that it's really came up was yesterday against Braden Swinson, who was his teammate at LSU. So Braden Swinson's used that same move against Will Campbell for the last 3 years. Yeah. And so he got up and he got a one-on-one against Will Campbell. And what does he do? First thing he does is goes to the inside move. So it's one of those vulnerabilities for him. It's something that he's worked on all off season and continues to work on now. But I also, like, just to be fair to him, his run blocking is excellent.
It was really good
like
in the the Monday practice.
People in the run game, and like dynamic, like second level blocks, hooking front side blocks, down blocks for caving into line scrimmage. Like Millen Williams, he folded him like a chair. Like he's doing those types of things in the run game, but the pass pro needs work. Like that, it's just an area of his game that needs work.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break. He needs work, and if you need to do work, Brunt Workwear is the place to go. It's based right here in New England. Brunt Workwear makes work boots and apparel that are built for the job site. Their gear is comfortable, durable, named after the real workers in the trades that helped design it. You can even try Brunt out on the job, and if it doesn't blow you away, they let you send it back. Save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with coupon code PATS. I'm going to get some boots, and they have these work pants that are water repellent, reinforced at the knees, stretchy. I'm going to get a pair of those.
Sounds good.
I need those around the house. It's good stuff. All right, so if you're out there working, Brunt Workwear is the place to go. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/OneRate for details. Exclusions apply.
Another day at the office. What's going on? You doing all right?
Reporters on the left here, stay clear of the cameras on the hill.
Straight through I think we're day 8 now. Campers, how are you feeling about your own performance and your progression?
Yeah, I think just keep going. I think just keep working, keep building chemistry. There's throws that I wish I had back, missed some touchdowns. 2 practices ago in the red zone. That's what you're out here for. I think I hurt myself on trying to make those throws and make the easy ones, but that's what it's out here. Timing and the guys up front are battling their butts off. It's a little better against the defense, we were able to run the football on them a little bit, and they're not just playing the pass. So I think we're coming together, gelling nicely, and I think, just keep on. We've got a good look with our defense. They got some good players over there, so we're getting some great work, and we just got to keep building into joint practices and keep it going.
Do you feel an upward? You're not supposed to. You go ahead, Dougie. Do you feel an upward progression for yourself right now?
I mean, that's what you hope. I think, I'm trying to get comfortable in this offense, kind of take the next steps as we go, and I think, the real test will be when the games comes and when we get in these joint practices. So I'm looking forward. I'm proud of work we've done, and I feel good. I feel in a good spot, but I think it's still a lot of work left.
Sorry. You know how in baseball you're not supposed to talk about it when a pitcher has a no-hitter?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Does the same thing apply if a guy's gone through 6 practices of training camp and hasn't thrown a pick?
I think it's one of those things where I'm trying to take care of the football, and maybe they could have had a few here and there. I think Maye should have had one on the first, practice. I joke with him about it, but yeah, I think that's a goal of ours to take care of the football. I think, not trying to, like I said, throw off the perfect game or no hitter, but I think that's part of it. I'm not scared to throw it. I'm still not gun shy. So
that's what's interesting to watch is you're still throwing it into tight areas. It's not check down after check down. Do you feel as if you're an equal opportunity quarterback at this point because you're still getting to learn a lot of these players too?
Oh, 100%. I think it's it's easy to throw the check down or it's not realistic. Moving the football and getting big kind of chunk plays, which is the plays you want in games where you're not throwing the ball down the field and throwing it in tight windows. And I think I did a little bit of that in the spring, trying to throw in some tighter windows. And I think just threw a little more interceptions, but that's what you're out here for. You try to feel hey, can this work or can this work against these guys at this level? So I try to use it as that, and kind of once as we're closer to football time, start playing some real hey, take care of the football mindset.
Drake, Josh Dobbs was saying the other day that Josh McDaniels is trying to take advantage of the quarterbacks, all of your athleticism.
Yeah.
Do you see a change in philosophy in terms of how much they may or may not want you to run the football?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an even balance of gaining an extra hat. You having the quarterback be able to run the football, he's get an extra number. You make it 11 on 11 instead of 10 on 11. So I think it's always it's a useful, and I think at the end of the day I'll make some plays kind of off schedule anyway. But mixing in the quarterback run game is something I'm open to, and I think it's always tough when a defense has to cover that and keep that in mind.
Josh is open to that, right?
I think whatever they put me up to, I think it's that they do a good job, and coaches won some Super Bowls coaching the offense, so I'm kind of prepared for whatever.
Mike had mentioned yesterday when talking about the quarterback runs, like I get that these young players are fearless, but he has to learn how to protect himself. Are they hammering that point home to you? Like, hey, we need you for 17.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think I faced that in college. My first year, I was really kind of running around and doing some stuff I probably shouldn't have out there with pads on. So I think just taking care of my body and being smart, but also knowing when it's third down and when it's near the end zone. Like, I'm 6'5" and 230 pounds. Go get something. So.
Drake, I'm curious, with the offensive line, how are you seeing that come together throughout these, first week or so of training?
I think those guys are battling. I think they're battling. We're using different cadences. We're using different pros. We're changing mic points. Like, they're really getting a good grasp of it. I'm proud of those guys up front. We got next man up mentality. Some guys are getting banged up, and some guys are fighting through injuries. So just part of the position. They don't get enough love ever. And I think the coaching staff and what the offensive linemen doing, I think they will be doing throughout the whole season is going to be impressive.
Drake, in the spring you talked with Josh, working with him, but where do you feel like he's been able to help develop you the most, especially going through these first couple days of a full padded practice?
Yeah, just playing the position. It's tough to coach the position, let alone play it. I think it's the big thing is having somebody in that room who wants to challenge you, wants to coach me hard. And you talking McDaniels or Dobbs? Coach, yeah, I'll talk about Coach anyway. But yeah, Dobbs has been great in the room as well. But Coach, yeah, I think who's done it at a high level, who's been a head coach, who's seen a lot of different stuff, who's seen the kind of evolution of the game of football in the past 20 years coaching it. So I think he's got a lot of experience, and I think I'm just trying to ask some questions and pick his brain and try to soak up everything I can.
Drake, in the spring you talked a lot about added expectations and being a leader. Do you feel like the arrow is still pointing in the right direction here at this stage of camp?
It's hard to put expectations on it, but I think I like where we're at. I think we're practicing hard. We're coming out here in these walkthroughs and focusing in details, and I think there's going to be times where there's days out here we didn't feel like we had as good as practice as we wanted, but right now I feel like we got a good head of steam going. I think we're going to have a scrimmage tomorrow, which will be fun, splitting up the team. So I think looking forward to that. And I think it's really, you find out you're going to have a chance every week, to go out there and prove yourself. And a lot of these games come down to one score, so it's what the details and the little things are about.
How much have you been working with specifically Stephon Diggs? It seems like already you guys have a nice rapport, especially down in the red zone. What does he do specifically well that you like to see as far as getting open and scoring?
I think it's just mindset. It's attacking the football. A guy like that, with his stature, who's caught a lot of touchdowns in this league and made a lot of big plays. He wants to go get the football. And he tells me all the time, just if the ball's in the air, it's going to be mine. So I think it's comforting hearing that from those guys, and I think that's kind of starting to become something in the receiver room. That's the mindset. When the ball's in the air, go get it. So I think it's comfortable hearing that, and it's comfortable a guy who's also gone out there and proved it.
And when he makes a comment like that, do you already have the confidence in him that when you throw the ball up there, like he's going to be able to catch it? Like, how do you kind of build that connection that you know if you're going to send that, he's got it?
Yeah, it comes with me making a good throw as well. So that's just trying to do my part and let those guys, they get paid, a lot of money, too. So let those guys make their plays, and just kind of comes off the, feeding off each other of letting them do their part and, kind of doing mine.
One of the things about Steph is that he doesn't tell you what you want to hear, he tells you what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Have you had that kind of experience?
I think that's huge. I think that's kind of what we're trying to build around here. I think it starts with, the head coach of telling you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear. I think it's a good start to where we want to go. And I think, there's times where you need to love somebody up a little extra, but I think it comes down from the head coach, and it's kind of, top down.
Your final questions, guys?
The pre-snap stuff is good. Lack of interceptions. It seems like there's been a couple issues with center quarterback exchange.
Yeah.
What do you think is causing those, and do you think you guys have fixed it at this point?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's fall camp, it's 95 degrees out here. But at the same time, we can't put the ball on the ground, and some of it's a little pre-snap. Be on the same page, and I think other than that, it's my part to get on there and get the ball. So it's not a big issue, and I think it's something that these guys have figured out. They got a tough job. They got not talking football, but they got a big 350-pound guy, and they're moving right, and they're snapping it with the same hand, and then come up to block them. It's a tough part on them, and it's just feeling stuff like that. It's pretty cool seeing how that stuff works out and how much that stuff changes. So.
Final question, guys.
Pre-snap stuff is going, just setting the protections and all that stuff that's on.
Yeah, help. I did in college. Kind of sent the line. Me and my center, we kind of sent the line where we wanted and changed it, and a little bit of that. And there's a little bit of that last year of getting the protection right. But I think it's starting to come along. I think it's nice knowing it's my job to send those guys to the right spot and get them on the same page and get all those guys all loving us. It starts with me, on kind of route the huddle of getting the guys in the right spot and getting the play started and starting with a good huddle. So I feel like I'm in a good spot, and I think those guys are doing a good job of listening to me, and if it's a look that we need to change it, they've done a great job. So thank you guys.
And now, great moments in history.
Jeez, my lines are way off this week. Yeah, I don't believe in Kirk
Where do you get your
Cousins.
lines from? Jimmy the Barber down the street?
It's week 2, the spread, and
I just go to DraftKings.
It's very
No,
nice.
ESPN's had the same lines as Paul.
Yeah.
So
Oh, we go to DraftKings.
No, these ones make more
DraftKings.
sense than the ones.
Where's
I get.
Kanifa? You listening?
They're-
DraftKings.
I mean, they are our presenting sponsor for the post-game show, so I think that we should
So at
just
least
go by
we,
DraftKings.
yeah. I mean, show a little.
I know.
Instead of every week you mocking my spreads,
I can't
as
go
if
to.
I'm making them
so
up.
you go to DraftKings.
Well, why don't you go to DraftKings?
I can't. I'm not allowed to, Fred. I signed a contract
Oh,
here.
that's
You're not
true. You
allowed.
probably-
like,
is
You're
it
not allowed
blocked?
to use it.
I don't. You can't even look at it, Paul. They don't even go to.
How do I look
walk
at-
through
how do
the
I look at it every
sports.
week?
You're gonna see.
Every Thursday morning I come
on
in.
your work computer.
Paul's grandfathered into.
I was going to
gambling.
say, Paul just has different rules.
This is not serious, right?
That's another great moment from
All right. Have you ever thought about traveling with the Patriots to a road game? Well, now you can.
Yes, I have
Enter
thought
the
about that.
Patriots road trip raffle for your chance to travel to New Orleans as the Patriots take on the Saints on October 12th. One lucky fan will receive 2 tickets on a private charter to the game, hotel accommodations, much more. Enter the chance to win for just $10. All your proceeds benefit the Patriots Foundation. To purchase your tickets, visit patriots.com/community. So as I teased earlier, I said we're going to have a special guest after the break, and none other than the host of the world-renowned Claire Perspective podcast emanating from the UK. It's Claire Cooper, everybody. Claire Cooper. Hello, Marine. We need a hello, Marine. There you go. Claire is here. She's visiting the States, particularly training camp. You've been here for the last 2 days. So first, welcome. And is this the first time you've been to camp?
Yes.
So tell us, from your perspective, the Claire perspective, how was camp?
Oh wow, it was.
Yeah, talking to the mic. Yeah.
No, it was great. Yesterday was padded practice, so there was a lot going on. I think the one thing as a fan is there's so much going on though, and not only is it a case of you're watching the guys practice, you kind of get in the atmosphere of other Patriots fans. You've got the media as well, if you want to kind of say hi to some of the media that you see. So there's just so much, and it was so hot yesterday as well.
Yeah.
It was a bit more hard to concentrate.
You
Today was cooler. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you got kind of the spectrum of Patriots camp. You got a super hot padded practice, and then today you got a cold walkthrough. I don't know if there's anything in between that. That's the two extremes.
So from what you've heard about camp and seen in video, were you surprised by anything, the layout or how it looked, or was there anything different than what you imagined?
I'll be honest, I didn't really picture anything. I kind of knew where the practice field was from walking past when we came to Gillette 5, 6 years ago.
Yep.
So I knew it was obviously separate. But it's just Deuce is right. It is amazing to come as a fan if you're going to do anything. If you can do anything like that, you should. It's great that it's free, obviously. There's also perks as well if you like season ticket holders and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But you get sort of semi-FaceTime with some of the players. You get them to sign things. I got to ask Vrabel a question. So,
Wow.
yeah, Vrabel might remember me now because I called him Mr. Vrabel Coach Sir. So, and he liked
any
that.
interaction with any tight ends?
Hunter Henry,
No.
Austin Hooper, no?
No,
Well,
Hooper went for an
Did you tell
interview.
Mike that you much preferred him as a tight end rather than a linebacker?
I didn't have a chance. I did ask him who on the roster would make the best tight end out of the linebackers at the moment, and he kind of said, I don't want to play favourites at the moment. So he didn't answer.
See, I pronounced it, I emphasized the tight. So instead of tight ends, I said tight ends. Any interaction with any tight ends?
No comment.
Okay, all right.
She's interacting with a couple right now.
Yeah. Okay, so besides coming to practice, what have you done while you've been here? Have you visited anything in the area or no?
I really haven't had a chance.
Right, no?
Yeah, I turned up
She's
late.
here for one reason, and one reason only.
Yeah,
Married to the
totally.
game.
Did you
Yeah,
go to the Hall of
completely.
Fame or any?
Not yet, but it's on the list.
That's on the
Yeah.
list. What
Oh,
about
man.
Patriot Place? Any restaurants?
Not yet.
No?
Haven't been here long enough.
Have you been eating food while you've
Yeah.
I've had some
For like
food.
2 days.
I know.
Okay.
But
Well, and practice is 2 hours. I mean, you know.
there was breakfast at the hotel on, where are we? It's Thursday today, yesterday. And then we went to practice, and then we had food in the hospitality because I had some VIP passes. With some big shout out to
Now
Andy.
it's all
Thanks for the
coming together.
VIP. It was
Steak tips?
awesome. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
we don't get access to
Amazing
that.
yesterday.
No.
So good yesterday. So yeah, we ate there and then kind of crashed because of jet lag, and it was so hot yesterday. So
Beautiful,
yesterday.
wasn't it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're crazy.
I
But
don't know what's wrong
That's
with
to
it.
me.
I don't know.
seriously.
The weather takes are
He loves it.
Yeah, I love it when it's like 68 in the summer with a 20-mile-an-hour wind.
same. You love it when it's 105. Like I know
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was awesome the last 3
I almost
days.
fainted.
Heat stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
It was
great.
I'm
All
too
right.
a delicate pale flower to cope with it yesterday, so I kind of crashed out yesterday. Today was just
today
You
was
got
right
more
after-
sun yesterday than you
amazing.
do in a
This is-
year at
this is
UK, right?
England.
Yeah, this is great. This is- I'm
it's
loving it.
exactly
Everybody
what it's like
stepped
at
on that one.
Right.
Totally.
All right, so let's talk some football because, you know, the Claire perspective.
what we do.
You talk football,
Really?
right?
Yeah, I do.
X and O's.
Mostly. And ice
Okay.
cream sometimes as well. Hey, dude.
So tell us what you're thinking about the wide receivers, because we had a lengthy conversation to start the show about how they're going to handle the amount of receivers that they have, who stays, who goes, will they keep an extra receiver? What do you think about the current state of the wide receivers with the Patriots?
To be fair, I agree with what Paul said with the whole, you're looking at receivers, not just wide receivers. So it really needs to be what's best for the offense, because the offense was, I hate to say so bad last season, but okay. Because the offense wasn't great last season, it's really needs to be about who the best players are and what the best fit is, regardless of what the letters are, so to speak.
Yep.
Did any of those guys stand out yesterday during padded practice to you, or did you find yourself? What did you find your eye gravitating towards? Because you're right, like there's
Hunter
so much to
Henry.
watch.
Hunter Henry.
Oh, of course.
85.
How about
85.
non-tight end?
No.
No, you
I'm
were just
kidding. I'm
locked on
kidding, I'm
that
kidding,
group
I'm
the whole
kidding.
time.
Henry, I
I'm
mean,
kidding.
we all know Hunter Henry's great.
Yes.
You know he's going to be good.
Yes.
There's got to be somebody else that caught your eye in the tight end room.
That's fair. Oh, Bell.
Yeah.
More because I didn't necessarily see him as much, but more because he came over, was really nice to me. When I told him that I was all the way from England, he thought it was brilliant, and he signed my football and my
And your what?
tight end rule sign.
And your what, Claire?
Careful. My football and my sign.
So you're gonna go back loaded. You got all the stuff. But that's what I like. Like, I mean, because we all sometimes we watch practice together, sometimes we don't, and then we congregate and we compare notes. And I mean, I think that's what I like about it is, you know, sometimes we'll see something that the other guy doesn't see, or
Truman
you know,
Jones.
so yeah, and you just kind of have fun, and it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna watch what I want. But that was it though. Tight ends, you didn't like no Kyle Williams catches or anything
It wasn't
like that.
just Hunter Henry. It was a little Austin Hooper too.
Well, and then they
Yeah,
signed like
Hooper.
two tight ends last night. So did you think that was because of your arrival?
I haven't had time
So
to look
Claire,
into
how do you have a clear perspective if all you're focused on is tight ends?
Oh.
Well, to be fair, I did actually watch the rest, and there was some good plays. But I saw Efton Chisholm runs around a lot.
Yeah.
Saw his number I mean, he's quite small. Well, from a distance anyway, but he was quite
Sure.
tiny. He looks quite small.
Relatively
and
speaking,
he was,
right?
Yeah. Relatively speaking. Yeah, everybody's huge because I'm only so midget. But yeah, saw him running around a lot. Now, whether that was just the context of what I was watching at the time and the whole grand scheme of things, he wasn't as much. But saw his jersey flashing around, so
Yeah.
that was interesting.
What did you think of Drake Maye in person?
He's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see him much.
Well,
Really.
you
He was
watched him
quite
on the
fun.
field, though,
Yeah,
right?
he was.
Like-
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He definitely has that presence, and
Yeah.
I was excited as soon as he was drafted. To be honest with you, so it's just all up here
Okay.
from there really.
All right. So, you know, we're going to get into the show. If you have something to say, you chime right in.
Say it,
Yeah,
If you
you're just
disagree
here
with
on the
something,
show.
I want to hear
Especially
your
with
opinion.
Paul. If you
Yeah.
disagree with
Yeah.
Paul.
Clap back at Paul. Don't let
I
him.
was going to
Okay.
suggest
Don't
if you
let him.
could to get into an argument with me, that will be you'd be part of the show.
Yep.
We talked to Efton Chisholm after practice today, and Dan Roach, of course, because he's Dan Roach, asked Efton Chisholm if he, the smile is just permanently on Efton Chisholm's face, to which he said, yes, it is, because I'm playing in the NFL. And I thought that was kind of cool. You know, rookie, just first NFL training camp, and, obviously he's competing for a roster spot, and he knows that. But at the end of the day, like, it is pretty freaking cool, like that he gets to be in the
And you're
NFL.
getting a paycheck.
I think that's a refreshing perspective in all seriousness.
Yeah.
You mentioned after practice, Drake Maye had a press conference,
He did.
which we just showed here.
He
What
did.
did you think about what he had to say today? Because you were there.
Yes, I was. I thought that it was interesting. What I like about his perspective is that he always says that he kind of gives the Iverson, like we're talking about practice, and like his real litmus test are the games, the joint practices he mentioned the next couple of weeks. You know, he said that he likes to think that they're headed in the right direction, but until they get into games like scenarios, whether they're joint practices, preseason, whatever, you really don't know 100% if you're going in the right direction until you hit that part. So I thought that was like good sort of, we ride the roller coaster of good day, bad day, good day, bad day. And to him, it's kind of just like, well, we're hoping we're in the right direction. Like we feel good about where we are, but we'll see. And then he was asked a couple of questions about running and like how they're managing that and how they're scheming that. And he, said that he agreed with sort of the premise that it's on him to keep himself healthy and to keep himself in games. But he also said he's 6'5", 230 pounds. And when he's by the goal line, if he sees an opening and it's third down and he's ready to run it in.
Am I the only one that gets scared by that?
Yes, you are.
I'm not suggesting we never run him. I'm not doing that part of it, but I don't like when he talks about how big he is and when he gets near the goal line and he's looking to plow guys over.
I don't know if he necessarily meant plow guys over. I think he just meant if it opens up and the opportunity presents itself, he ain't afraid.
Well, if it opens
That's it.
up, you don't need to be 235 pounds. You know what I'm saying? You just run in, which he did, I think, once last year. Remember?
Yes, it was in the preseason.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
But
you're
yeah,
right.
I like those answers. Paul doesn't. That's okay.
I just want to keep him healthy. Is that asking
No,
too
I
much?
agree
I want to
with
win
you.
football games.
I do too.
And
but
if he has to risk it for the biscuit a little bit, then
when they
so
get
be
to
it.
the point where they're playing in really important games and it's make or break, by all means, lower the shoulder and do what you need to do to get the win. But, you know, dancing down the sideline in the first quarter of a game against the Chargers when you're like 2-12 is not one of those times to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't think he was talking about like, you know, we're down inside the red
Fourth
zone.
and goal,
and
gotta
it's-
have
right,
it. I
yeah.
think.
Fourth and goal, got to have it.
Some
Game on the
cornerback on the
line, by
edge
all
coming on,
means.
just-
You know,
Yeah.
third and goal in the second quarter. That's not a gotta have it play to me. Like I want to
I know
make
what
sure
you're
he's.
saying,
I want to
Paul.
make sure we preserve him and he's ready.
Even though I'm a Josh Allen fan, and I still just when he does some of
think
that
he's
stuff,
crazy.
you're like, you're crazy. You're like, don't lower your shoulder.
That's kind of crazy.
I think he's crazy, and Buffalo's
Crazy in
whole
love.
season would end if one of those hits goes the wrong way.
855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Let's go to Jared in California. What's up, Jared? Jared.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Claire,
he went
how's
to
it going?
Jared.
Good.
Hey, Jared.
So I went to the first week of training camp. Incredible experience. I loved it. It really looked like the new coaching staff had a grasp and everything was running pretty efficient. My question is, how would you contrast this training camp with the new regime compared to old regimes? And I'll take it off the air.
Okay, thanks, Jared. I mean, old regime meaning last year. I mean, it's
very similar.
I mean, in terms of how it's organized, it's the same. You know, you have your sessions and you break it up and you go to team, you go to 7-on-7, 11-11. You know, all that's the same. I would just say the competitive level, I think, is a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think I can see more competition. Certainly, and Evan, you mentioned this morning. You were on one of Paul's shows this morning, and you had an excellent hit today, by the way.
You have to be more specific.
You mentioned it.
Dad complimented me 2 times.
You mentioned it today that this year, you know, one day the offense is better, one day the defense is better. Last year, offense was rarely winning the day.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit more even this year in terms of who's winning, even within a certain practice. And I think that's probably a better thing.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the structure of camp.
No, it doesn't.
I
It
got
doesn't.
one. I got one.
But I, think
I have a couple too.
The level
Go
of
ahead,
play.
You want me to go first?
first.
Well, Paul and I always joked, and it became almost a joke with how much time they spent in the red zone with Bill Belichick. And I mean, it was like, you know, I don't remember last year if it was the same, but I specifically remember with Bill and Mac, it was like every day you were in the red zone every day. And they did periods over the last few days in the red zone. But it's obvious to me the progression of how they're stacking this all together. You know, it's all right. First, we're going to be, high red zone. Then we're going to move to the low red zone. Now today we're going to be in the middle of the field. Now we're going to add in third downs. It's easier to decipher exactly how they're installing everything to me. Whereas with Bill, it was like they're in the red zone again. Like it was seemed like every day they were stressing that.
Well, with Brady, you knew you were going to be in the red zone a lot.
Last year, I would say one of the big differences, I felt like it took a long time to get into practice. On a routine basis. I felt like the warm-up period was like 45 minutes. And I think they're much quicker into practice. What they actually do in practice for all three, Belichick, Mayo, and Vrabel, I agree with Fred. I think they're very similar. I think the end of the Belichick regime kind of had a little bit less of this competition stuff that you're talking about. And I think people criticized that it seemed to be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that last year with Mayo.
To be fair, the first 5 minutes of the practice was dealing with Matt Judon. That was like baked into the rundown.
This is what we do now.
Period one. Period one. Deal with Matt Judon.
Now we can be like my shows.
Well,
Take
point out one
pot
other
shots.
thing too is just like we haven't seen the hose. The hose hasn't come out for the when they get all
but
the new
I would
guys.
agree
Like,
with the progression of practice is generally very similar. It's like Fred said. It's individual. It's position drills. It's 7-on-7. It's team periods, and roughly the same amount.
Yeah.
Now, Mike is right. Belichick used to always start with the red zone, and Mike has sort of worked his way to the red zone. And I think they're probably getting the same amount of reps in the red zone. It's just going to come at different times of practice.
Yeah, like we're talking about like that's like organizing practice. What I was talking about on the radio this morning was like some days I come out of practice and I'm like, I don't really know who won. Like it was kind of like this was like it was pretty
that to
even.
me is different, and I agree with you. Last year there was 1 or 2 days where we're like, oh, the offense actually punched back today.
Yeah,
but most days it was the defense just dominated.
Right, and then
you
know,
guys are right about back and forth this year.
When I said this morning was like, it was always, is the defense actually that good, or is the offense actually this bad? And how do we judge the defense against this offense? And like you had that whole mind game that you were sort of playing with yourself of what does all this really mean? Whereas this year I feel like it is more of like an iron sharpening iron type of situation, hopefully at least. But in terms of the structure of practice, I just have noticed different drills. Like there's different drills for sure. That different stretch, different. They've been doing like different drills with the offensive and defensive lines where they're like doing these like grappling drills where they're not actually moving, but they just are kind of hand fighting with each other and that sort of thing. And then I used to call it in my day, we call it inside six, where it's just like 6 blockers against like the D line and the linebacker level, and there's no secondary and there's no receivers. And they've been doing a lot of that, but it's like one half of the line. And it's like one half of the defense, and then like the other half on the other, and they actually have mixed in like run and pass, which I think is really interesting. Like usually with inside six, it's all run. It's just a run period. But in this, they like mix in a pass every once in a while just to throw it off.
Just to get Jalen Polk a touch.
Oh, jeez.
There's no receivers.
He
Paul.
walked in and right behind us off the field. Where was that then?
There's no receivers.
The other thing I would say,
had I known that was Jalen Polk, I might have said something.
The other thing I would say I would notice is,
I'm just kidding.
more than one player has inferred, if not out and out said it, that they see a noticeable difference in the coaching. Players that were here last
getting
year.
corrections and things like that. Yeah, I think that
I'm sure that's happening.
You can see that with Vrabel though, like with some of the drills that they're doing on the line of scrimmage, like that's his like you can tell that that's his stamp, right? Like he wants to be a physical football team. Yeah. He wants to be fundamentally sound up front. They were so sloppy up front the last couple of years, and I don't see that. Like, yeah, guys get beat. Guys are going to get beat, over the course of multiple practices, but you just don't see a lot of like the fundamentals just totally breaking down.
Not as many stops and starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I feel like Bill and Mike both have similar philosophies of wanting to create a tough team, but they kind of go about it different ways. It's different personnel, different schemes, and even just both hopping into drills a little bit. Mike more than Bill, but just more than one way to skin a cat. And clearly, to me, Mike Vrabel putting his stamp all over this team, and that's a really good thing. I think they'll reflect his toughness.
Linda in Georgia writes in. She says she had to write in, even though I have no true football comments today. Thanks for having a very special guest today.
Oh, thank you.
Walkthrough today was enjoyable, especially seeing the returning team members of Hollins and Davis. Great analysis of all things Patriots as usual. So she just wanted to
say
hello there.
Like,
Thank
where's all
you,
your
Linda.
crew? Where's like Chutters and Tom and all these guys that support you, and they should be calling in. And no, I guess not. No. Well, Claire's been very nice because before I worked here, I wrote a blog called Past Propaganda, and it just kind of went dead. And her and Tom have continued to keep it alive and put some posts up. So I appreciate that. It lives on. The legacy lives on.
So you gave them the keys to the castle?
I gave them the keys to the castle. I just keep it running, and they put up all the posts and everything. Although I did post one of our preview videos on there. I was like, oh, hey, I was just making sure the site was all running. I'm like, hey, I think I'll put up our preview camp, our training camp preview that we did. So didn't know about.
Have you started the vest database yet? No. The Vrabel vest database?
Now I'm on
That's a good question, Fred. I mean,
likeness.
I noticed 2 days ago was the first time Vrabel wasn't in his standard blue vest with the red sleeves. He had just a windbreaker on. So maybe, like me, when I wore pants yesterday and everyone had a comment for me, maybe it was wash day.
I mean,
maybe that's why you were so ungodly hot.
I mean, that was a crazy move. It was 100 degrees out.
As soon as he walked in, I go, "Are you out of your mind? Like, what are you doing?"
And then I wore long sleeves today. I thought you didn't mind being hot.
Today I could see the long sleeves because it's like cold.
It's not cool in here though.
It's not cold. It was 80 degrees out.
It's comfortable.
Curtis in St. Louis writes in, with the health questions at the outside cornerback position, would you like to see the Patriots add some depth? Call it a plan or managing him or whatever. The fact that we've only seen Davis one day this offseason training camp, on top of that, Gonzo's hamstring situation, I have some concerns. I would love to see them bring in a guy like Gilmore or maybe Asante Samuel. Just wanted your
Junior?
thoughts.
It's not junior.
Yeah.
Junior.
He's talking about Junior there.
Second, Evan, it's your call. From everything you've seen to this point, where would you put Jared Wilson on this O-line?
Left guard.
You would.
Yeah. I've had reservations about him playing center as a rookie for a while.
I would need to know more information about his mental abilities. Because I have the same reservations that Evan's talking about. But if they were okay with that part of it, I would rather have him at center.
Because it's not just, but it's like not just the impact that he has. It's across the board. It's the impact it has on him. It's the impact it has on Drake, like in the offense as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, and like I asked Drake at his press conference today about the pre-snap stuff because he's in control now. Like Josh McDaniels, it runs through the quarterback, but the center still has input, and the center still makes calls, certain calls. You know, 4 down, 3 down. Like he calls out the front. How is it odd? Is it even? And then Drake takes that information and then he sets the mic and yada yada yada.
4 down.
Yeah, correct.
I totally hear what Paul's saying though. Like in a
'Cause I
perfect
think it's
world,
a more important position.
Yeah, in a perfect world, him and Drake, and we just pull the Band-Aid off and let them take some lumps together. But then you have that stabilized, and this is the duo.
But I totally
I get what Evan's saying.
and I get Evan's point of view. If he's not ready for that, I don't want to put too
Because
much on
like,
his
what
plate.
if his game falls apart?
And now you're potentially damaging him too, like by playing him too quickly if he's not ready for the mental side of it. Which is a mild concern with Will Campbell with the stuff that we talked about before the break about. Well, is it a mental thing? Is that why he's oversetting? You know, is he constantly worrying about?
Or it's just kind of habit. And
It's not. He's not worried about being fast enough because, by all accounts, he's one of the most athletic left tackles that's come out of the draft in a while.
Yep.
I think it's like it's almost. I mean, we all play sports. It's like a feel thing. Like you just feel yourself losing the edge, right? And you just can't help it, and you just can. It's like one of those things where you just kind of innately. It's not even like you're purposely trying to do it. It's just like it comes over. You're like, he's like challenged me out here, and then all of a sudden,
I don't know, like. We're all, pseudo Dante Scarnecchi is talking about this, but
correct.
Like,
you guys are.
Like sometimes I look at it and engage quicker. Like, don't back up so deep.
Well, I think that's what he's doing though. Is he's trying to come out and get his hands on people.
I don't see that. I see him on backpedaling, and the first point of contact is like 3 yards deep.
When he gets beat on the inside, like yesterday against Swinson in one-on-ones, he tried to come out and two-hand punch him, and he got overextended, and Swinson just went inside
I keep
him.
working on that.
Yeah.
I keep working on that.
That's where he's going to have to strike that balance.
Yep. Mark's in Connecticut on the hotline. What's up, Mark?
Hey, guys. How we doing today?
Good.
Oh, hi, Mark.
There it is.
So, I got a good one for you. I don't believe that Polk and Baker have a shot at making the roster. So what my plan is there any trade possibility? Is there any value in these two players?
I think you package them up for a first.
2.
Yeah. No, I'm only kidding, Mark.
Right
No, I don't think there is much trade value there. No.
I didn't think so. And are you guys going to be at the in stadium practice tomorrow night?
Oh, we'll be there.
Yeah.
No.
5:12.
All right, guys. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark. Thanks.
Well, I'm not going around the stands. It's not a meet and greet.
Oh yeah, you don't glad hand. You don't go around the rim.
How you doing, Paul Pearl? How you doing?
All
How you
charges
doing?
for that sort of
I
thing.
hide in the press box and write as much as I can while practice is going on, so I can go home when it's over.
Afterwards, you go down the field. I hear people.
yeah.
Paul Perillo, what's going on,
And
Paul?
what do you do when you're done, Mike?
You go home.
When you're done,
Hopefully.
you go home.
You know what's gonna be the best part of tomorrow?
No one gets more shout-outs than Deuce. Deuce at training camp.
Fred will tell you what happens
is
when the legit are out there.
A legitimate celebrity when we do the pre-practice thing with
Mike DeSalt. Mike DeSalt.
Dude,
Aren't they waiting for your T-shirt?
I always feel
that's what I need.
very honored that when I wander around, people just give me the cat calls, and I'm like, people know me. Blah, blah, blah. Except for when I'm walking back from All Access during training camp with Mike Reese.
Oh yeah.
Then I might as well not even be there.
Oh, Mike Reese.
Oh yeah.
I might as well not even be there. It's like, oh, that's Mike and that other guy that he's on with.
Dan Roach,
Every
I think.
single person on the planet knows Mike Reese.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, as they should. You know what's gonna be fun tomorrow, Paul, is figuring out who's on the blue team and who's on the white team.
Oh, I can't wait for the tweets.
Well, it sounds like Drake said it today in his press conference. Like they're expecting. He said we're going to split the teams up and we're going to scrimmage and
That's what That's basically what they've done in that. Bill used to, you'd have to identify which offensive guys are wearing blue.
Right, but he made it. Bill, it wasn't competitive. Like the actual
I don't think it's gonna be
football
competitive.
wasn't competitive. They're saying it's a scrimmage.
Yeah. Well, but seriously though, isn't there just a small part of your brain that thinks like Vrabel's just crazy enough to have some overly physical practice at this point?
Well,
just a small part.
And I will sit here and I'll tell you guys that I didn't see this coming because Bill called it a scrimmage every year.
No, he didn't. The marketing.
I was going to say he called it a scrimmage every year. It was never competitive. I don't expect it to be any. I don't expect it to be much different than what we've seen.
Why is that?
Because I just don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially after 3 padded days earlier in the week.
I would say you're going to see a continuation of what you've seen in practice.
I would say if this is overly physical, it would be counter to what he's been doing and what players say he's been doing. Like he is cognizant of our health right now. He's not going to beat us up this early. But at some point, you got to get ready for tackle football.
Yeah.
But it's never been during this in-stadium practice that they do that. So
and if they're guys, like there are guys catching passes across the middle and safeties are lowering the boom, then I'll say, hey, Bill never did that.
That's not
Pep's knocking guys out.
I don't think they'll be tackling. I don't think they'll be hitting on the line like we've seen.
Yeah, I don't think we want to see that, right?
No.
You don't want to see open field shots.
We did see that last year with Gerard. Gerard had them tackling to the ground in practice, and it was like.
It was eye-opening.
It was. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, I was.
And
like,
Bill
never
has
seen this
had
before.
full padded practices in that, and he's had practices when they're in the shell. The shells.
Yeah. But even with the full padded, they don't go 100%.
No. I still think it's all
That was
about
just for you. You're the only one
the
that
pomp
gets
and
that.
circumstance of the game, and this is where we go,
Yeah.
and then this is how it
They'll
flows. Oh, it's
simulate-
halftime.
Well, I think that's a big
And,
part
all
of
that.
what they do
Yeah.
is the whole game operation.
Yeah.
You want to get a play clock going. You want to have, defensive
Calling the
substitutions
plays
coming
in,
from the
guys
sideline.
coming
You
in
want to
and
make sure
out,
that they have the
right.
right personnel
Right.
groups on
That
the
is.
field.
It is. It's
That's
like
a big part of it.
I know it sounds silly because these guys are professional football players, but coming from the sideline and the signals and the play calls coming from the sideline on the headset, like that is different than what it is at practice.
Yep.
So
That'll be another one. Who's calling the plays for the blue team? McDaniels is calling the offense for the white team.
Todd Downing,
But
he was an OC.
I think it's Todd
Is
Downing.
is it Thomas Brown?
But
Experience.
He's a pass game coordinator.
David in Bethlehem writes in, please comment on Todd Downing being an improvement over Tyler Hughes and Taekwon Underwood. McDaniels and Downing seem a potent combo. First blush, 10-7 in playoffs.
Well, he's just an experienced coach who's been an offensive coordinator before, and I mean that was Tyler Hughes. I think first time he had an NFL receiver room. Came from college, had a brief time here, so it's just.
But I
all
want to
about
see
the
what it looks
experience.
like before I just deem it
Yeah.
better. I'm crazy like that.
I still wish that they had hired a skill coach, like a wide receiver, former wide receiver, like a Wes Welker type or something like that. That is a guy that played the position that. I think Todd Downing conceptually can coach the offense. Like, this is your route depth, this is your release, this is where you're supposed to be, this is the concept. This is what this guy's doing next to you. But who's taking Kyle Williams to the side and coaching him up on the top of the route or his release
how to get
or something like those real details, like the minutia of playing the position. Todd Downing has also never done it before at that position. So.
At the risk of riling Paul up, I'm going to say I'm going with the 10-7 though.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of people. A lot of people tell you that's low. I've heard 11, 12 wins. I've heard
only one person said 12 wins.
Who is this person? I just hate those predictions.
Stephen Ireland writes in, great camp so far. They've given me optimism for the coming season without the over-the-top, we're going to the Super Bowl feeling that other shows will give you, and not Paul's shows. I don't listen to them.
I've not heard any Super Bowl predictions.
But I'm a massive fan of Paul's.
I have not heard any Super Bowl predictions.
Just you wait.
Question for today. After seeing Mac Hollins go right into the top receiver group today, is there any feeling that he is there to kind of mentor Booty and the other young guys, mainly in a watch-and-learn kind of way for the season, and also keep what was a messy group last year working with a high professional standard through each week? And then that also gives Diggs more of a chance to rehab and be the top receiver without having to worry about the others. I don't think Hollins or Diggs are worried about the others.
I think that's exactly why Hollins is here, is what the emailer said.
To mentor?
To babysit, yeah.
Really?
100%. I think he's been known as a guy that's a pretty good locker room guy, good character.
Oh, okay, but he's not out there coaching other players.
Coaching, no, but I think that he's there to handhold for sure.
You know, it's setting example. I would say that's the biggest thing for me with Diggs is just watch and learn, guys. This is what it's supposed to look like.
And evidently, that's been a positive process because all the other receivers are talking about how good he's been to them.
I just point out too, like almost every day, Diggs goes and signs too. So I know I was hard on him when he was a member of the Bills and kicking our butt, but like, I love what I've seen on the field, off the field so far. You know, we had a little hiccup earlier this year, but otherwise that's behind him. And
they all come around sooner or later.
I know.
Well, just like a little story about Matt Collins. So Efton Chisholm was talking after practice. I mentioned that, and he said that Matt Collins asked him for a ride home one day, which I think is hilarious. Like he doesn't have
probably
his own
didn't
car.
have any shoes, so he couldn't walk.
So he asked Matt Collins asked Efton Chisholm for a ride home, and Efton Chisholm said sure. Like of course they're driving home, and Matt Collins said, I'm going. You know, Efton Chisholm said, what are you doing?
Buffalo.
What are you doing after this? And Matt Collins said, I'm going to study the playbook. And Efton Chisholm said, can I come with you? And he said, yeah, sure, we can do it together. And
Study
then,
group.
so now after every
Study
single day, Matt Collins and Efton Chisholm are watching film together, studying the playbook, preparing for the next day together, doing all these types of things. I think that's exactly why Matt Collins is here, is to do that kind of stuff and play special teams and run block.
Well,
and no issues.
He needs to get on the field
and jump balls.
Well, he is on the field now. He's
You
back.
know what I mean.
He's back.
Yeah.
But didn't Diggs say, on his first, I think it was his very first presser, the tone of what he was saying, because I can't remember it like word for word, was that he's setting an example sort of thing for the younger guys to come in. I mean, I know it was like months and months ago now.
Well, he's playing like it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, everything you've seen of him. And to me, the bottom line is watch him play. Like that jumps out, watching him run routes, catch the ball, turn it upfield, show a little speed. And you're telling me this guy is still recovering.
What do you think
from an
has
ACL?
kept him from being, an every down receiver?
Matt Collins?
Yeah.
Oh. Was he with the Raiders, though? I mean, when we saw the Raiders, it was those three. It was him and Adams and Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
And I really was impressed with him. And I remember looking on my phone and being like, how's this guy kind of bumped around? Because he's got good size. He's tearing the Patriots up right now. You know, he stood out to me.
My thing with him that I can't figure out, and I don't know how good he is technically, quote unquote, how good, but everybody talks about Matt Collins the way Evan described, how good he's been to teammates and positive presence in the locker room, yet he's been on a million teams.
Yeah, right. And that's usually a red flag for me,
There's a
too.
lot of 1-year stops.
Because he's a nomad, Paul.
Yeah.
You can't cage Matt Collins.
That might be.
wander.
This is not I think he's overrated as a leader or as a teammate. I don't think that at all. I'm wondering why a guy with that reputation has been on 5 teams.
Yeah. So he played 93% of the snaps with Vegas, with Josh in Vegas.
So he was an every down player in Vegas.
Last year with the Bills, it was 66% of the snaps.
Well, that's not that bad.
That's more than I would have thought.
Yeah. So last year with the Bills,
they also had absolutely no receivers. They got rid of Diggs and started all over, so he probably had to mentor people. And now
And
they
a
feel
lot
like
of-
Shakir is at a different level, and they probably didn't.
You know what else I wonder, Ev, is he seems
is that
like
counting special teams?
No.
He seems like the perfect guy to do what we've been talking so much about, the X and Josh at McDaniels offense, where you're really just kind of run and goes or comebacks, and there's not, when the ball's probably not going to you a lot, and he seems to have that perfect personality to be that guy who, I'm happy to be the guy who takes the top off the defense and maybe makes a contested catch downfield or, occasionally gets behind the defense. So maybe that's part of it too, is he's well equipped to kind of do what Josh is going to ask him to do.
He's sacrificial X, and
sacrificial X. That's
how does he crack the end too? He's a good run blocker, and I think that's a big part of his game as well. He's a guy at receiver that you can use as a weapon in the run game. You can have him block different body types and things like that you can move him around and take him from different angles and stuff that allow.
Catch that, Fred?
Yep.
Weapon.
I heard
He's
it.
doing emails.
Yeah. I heard the weapon.
In the run game. It's a one-dimensional weapon.
So I think you add it all up and you see why he's here. And we'll see if he goes back to that role. I think that's what everybody's perked up for now. Is he going to push Booty for significant playing time, or is we going to be a spot receiver, and special teams guy, which is what I think we thought he'd be all offseason.
Okay. Let's see. Lots of emails.
A lot of phone calls, too.
So let's get to the phone calls. What do we got? I'm looking at the lineup here.
Who's order of longest
Danny.
wait?
Yeah. Todd's in North Carolina. Hey, Todd.
Todd.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, thanks. So I think you guys came to a conclusion that Maye is going to be what drives this season and his progress and his maturity. I'm still worried about the line. Not so much the tackles, but I really don't like Bradbury at the center. I went and watched some of his film last year, and at times he's a turnstile when the passing protection. He just doesn't seem to... He's snapping the ball. He should be able to act immediately, and he seems like slow. Have you guys seen that at all in what you've been watching the training camp? And who could we use to replace him? Is Strange a possibility still, or is that ship sailed? Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. I mean, there's always Ben Brown.
Yeah, I think Ben Brown's kicking around still. Bradbury's issue is play strength. Like, he's just not a particularly strong or big center. And so in pass protection, especially like against bigger nose tackles, he can get bullied a little bit. You know, just go backwards, to put it politely.
But having said that, the season does depend on Drake Maye.
It does.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's the extreme example, and I hate comparisons to him, but his ability to get the ball out quick and read the defense and know where to go with it right after the snap, the Josh McDaniels thing, helped mitigate some of the ups and downs they had along their offensive line. Again, that's an extreme connection, but at the same time, if Drake continues to progress and gets the ball out fast, and I mean, he said it himself, that was the biggest takeaway. I think it was also on NFL Network yesterday when Josh shows Tom Brady's film, and it was the same thing when Paulie and I sat with him. What I came away most amazed was that he knew exactly what he was doing after the snap. Before, you know, he could process everything. I mean, even Tom said it himself, that he would look at the Chiefs' defense and be like, yeah, I know exactly what they're doing every time. So if Drake can get to that level, some of these concerns that we have about some of the offensive line or some of the weapons, like that stuff gets put back a little bit.
It's not all good if the offensive line isn't good, but he can make it better.
Yeah, he can at least help and avoid some of the...
If the line is really good and Drake Maye isn't, you know,
yeah, well, he knows when they're going to send pressure.
I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. I'm just saying, I still put the hopes of the season on Drake Maye.
Can I push back and say, well, wouldn't you maybe put it on Vrabel? I understand what you're saying about Drake Maye. Yes, he's pivotal. But it feels like now Vrabel's in the building, everything feels different.
Okay, maybe, but I think he has made things better. Where do you fall on the Brady versus Belichick debate?
50-50.
You better fall on the right side.
No comment.
Paul's gonna get you.
No comment? Okay.
No, to be fair, it's a tandem. One, they have to be together. It's a lightning struck, and they were both there at the right time, and it created.
That's a great answer, Paul.
No, hit me.
Good answer.
That's
Good
cool.
answer.
Terrible answer.
Oh, stop it.
One of those guys won a Super Bowl without the other.
Yeah, well, that's completely honestly true. He also had.
Well, listen, I've
good
always said
coaching behind
each
him,
of them made the other better.
Yeah, this is it.
But I think Brady. If I had to start a team today, I would start with Brady.
Well, yeah,
That's fair.
He's the player.
I think he's the player. He's
Yeah.
the player, and that's why you mentioned Vrabel. Absolutely important. Change the culture. Positive, but it's the players.
I think Bill would agree. I know you probably don't think he would, but
Bill would definitely not agree.
Well,
you don't think
he
that
would say the right things.
No, he wouldn't.
You don't think that if someone said to Bill, would you like rather yourself or Brady? He would say me.
Would start the team with
No,
me.
he would think me.
I don't know.
He wouldn't say it.
I mean,
he might not say that, but if you said,
so all of the players win the game stuff is all lip service for 25 years.
Absolutely. Just go by his act. How many times have we said this? Don't go by
Not
what he
with
says.
Brady.
Go by what he does.
Yeah.
See, I can throw something more inflammatory because you say about Brady, and one of the things that I think, particularly sort of the second half of his career, because I know you split it up into two, is the Gronk connection. There was a big deal in the success of the offense, and he took that to Tampa. Now, whilst I'm not saying that like Gronk replaced Bill and that's why they won a Super Bowl and things like that, but it isn't just the sum of one part.
No,
in all
of course
fairness.
not.
I wouldn't suggest that they only won a Super Bowl because of Brady, although I would say it was 95% of it. But if you ask me if it's about a great coach with a bad quarterback or a bad coach with a great quarterback, I'll take the latter every single time.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I
see
can-
why.
I I know what you think of Zach Taylor.
I was gonna go Tony Dungy, honestly. But
Tony Dungy was a pretty good coach.
No, he
Zach
wasn't.
Taylor, I think.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Couldn't
He
you
did it with two different.
argue?
He did it with Sean. He brought Sean King to the NFC Championship game for God's sakes.
That's good.
Sean King couldn't play.
Part of the problem with arguing with Paul is that he's done all these
Knowledge?
arguments
Is that
500
part of
times.
the problem?
No, but you've also done all of them. And so you started Claire out with just like, I'm going to start off with level 1, Paul. You just gave her the.
Oh, I can't give it to Claire. Come on, she's the best.
No, I know, but but you were just
I can't treat Claire like I would you.
But see, what's happened to me is I've been on this show longer. Is that when every day I start talking football with my dad, and he or when best was when I went away with all my college buddies, and they start laying into me about their thoughts on the Patriots, and all I can think about is just like I've had these arguments 100 different times, and I'm like,
you don't like that?
No, it's like I'm trying. Like this is my time off. Like
I figured he would like put like a napkin. Like
no.
What? Like he's like Brando at the opening
This
scene
is
of
what I
the
do.
Evan will see you now.
Right. This is what I do. This is what I do. I walk into like a holiday and I say, 20 minutes. This is it. And then when we're done, we're done. And I'm not doing this anymore.
Evan, I know you said 20
because
minutes, but I have
like,
one more question.
Because you're like, dance, monkey. You're like, no, I don't want to.
I just have one follow.
Just one follow, Evan, please, because the X on the backside.
I just want to eat my butts of ball soup in peace. Can you stop that? Yeah.
You get out of that too.
Come in. Yeah.
You don't?
What?
Like when you are out with like friends, family.
I shut it down.
So no, I think we all would like to, but
I do.
You know what? My favorite.
I don't know.
Yeah. My favorite part of what Evan's talking about is the people that sort of recognize that you really don't want to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, I know you talk about this stuff all the time.
Right.
But then they doesn't stop them from going to a 10-minute diatribe.
I know. And that's
about
why
all the things they think.
With my college buddies, I just started throwing some little level 1 Parilla with them, like you just did. Just what about this and like oh well yeah.
How many levels
That's
are
a good
there to
point.
Parilla
Oh, there's
in your
like
mind?
there's
like a lot of layers.
He's like an onion.
What's like level 5 Parilla like?
Level 10 Parilla. Oh man, that's look out.
I've only seen level 10 Parilla like once or twice. It hasn't been
level 10. Level 10 hasn't really.
I can think of one time, but
Joe Milton draft. That was about as heated as I get on this show.
But then it's funny because Paul goes on when you're the rational
a
one.
year
on
later,
Father
they had to
Matt.
get rid of him. Why? Because it was a problem for Drake May.
Thank you. Bye.
No further questions.
He was just a problem.
For Drake May.
No.
For defenses too.
My God. You will not even admit that was why they got rid of him.
No, it wasn't. It
I might
wasn't.
go level 10 in the last 3 minutes.
It was because he and his agent were a pain in the ass. You're not who you think you are. See you later.
Okay, I would suggest you do a little bit more research.
I'm
not guessing on this, by the way.
All right, I know. All right, we're going to do real quick because we're running to the show.
Little lightning round?
Yeah, real quick.
Like my shows?
Eldred, what's up? Eldred.
Hey.
There you go.
Hey, Claire. Good to see you. How you doing, fella?
Oh, well, come on.
Good.
Let's go.
Hey,
this isn't happy time with Claire. Come on.
it was Tom Brady, 25 years.
I knew it.
There you go.
Boom.
Wasn't Bellichick.
Level 10 Eldred. Drop.
Because he didn't throw no passes. He didn't read no defense. And he didn't break no team.
Whoa, I don't know about
So
reading
you
the
could have-
defense.
I wasn't
But
saying
you
he
can,
wasn't
We had some
Brady.
videos to help him with that.
We're going deep.
You could be a great coach with no player. You won't win a darn thing but a coach holding the playbook.
Don't
That's
disagree.
like 22,
Don't
23.
disagree.
Or you could be a great coach with players and you win a Super Bowl. And the great player was Tom Brady.
That's fair.
I'm sorry.
Don't
All
disagree.
right.
Stick with it.
All right, thanks, Eldred.
Thanks,
let's
I'm
go
gonna get heat for this.
to Danny in Daytona. What's up, Danny?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Danny.
Quickly.
Hey, so quickly, I just want to say one thing. Everybody's going crazy about the 10-7 and 11-12 wins. That's crazy. I think realistically, the team's going to go 9-8. So about Paul, I think he was kind of, being negative Nancy, but I think, like he said, maybe
Not this
at
year.
worst they get 6 wins. But I think realistically 9-8.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd take
that's
9 and
fair.
8.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Thanks, Danny.
I could see that.
I said floor 6, ceiling 10.
I'd win. If they go 9 and 8, I'm happy.
I'd be happy with
successful
9 and
season.
8 too, but I'm not negative. I think they could go 9 and 8.
Christian in New York. What's up, Christian?
Hey, you guys. Hello, Claire.
Oh, he's in New York
Hello,
now.
Christian.
Hello, Claire.
Hi, Christian.
Hey, girl.
The Bon
Claire,
Vivant
I
is
have
in
a
New York
question for
today.
you.
Shoot.
Do you get upset or offended when the guys do that? Hello, Claire.
No, it's just what they do. It's fine. It's
Okay.
cool. No, it's cool.
This is Christian in LA, right?
It's nice to be
Yeah, why does it
recognized.
say New York?
To be honest
He's
with
a
you.
Bon Vivant.
What are you doing in New York?
I'm in New York, unfortunately, to visit my dad. We have to put him in a nursing home.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Damn it, Christian, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, no,
Oh, that's the end of the show.
I'm
All right,
sure.
we'll
I
see
don't
you
think it's going to
Tuesday.
happen
I'm sure
tonight.
several of you guys have been there, right? The first time you see your dad, like, small and weak. It's a real, like, transformative thing, you know?
Oh, unfortunately, I never got that chance. But anyway, all right, Christian.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
on to football. What I've noticed is our skill players and even some of our offensive linemen seem to be undersized. Is that like a trend in the league, or are we just like sort of undersized team?
Yeah.
I'll take up the air. Good to see you guys. And
Okay.
hey, Claire, keep coming back. And I want my turn on the stage, guys.
Oh yeah, for
All
sure.
right, thanks.
We'll
Christian.
wheel you in like Hannibal Lecter.
Undersized, a trend for linemen,
I don't know.
or no?
I haven't thought about that much.
Well, I mean, undersized. Like Campbell's arms are a little short, but he's 6'6", 330 pounds. I wouldn't
Yeah.
call that
I
undersized.
don't really think their offensive line is
I
undersized.
mean, when Cole Strange wasn't the biggest guy.
No, Cole Strange is undersized, and Jared Wilson's built more like a center than a guard in terms of his size. Maybe I don't know. I
Wendy's
never
a
thought of
huge
it.
guard.
He's huge.
He's
And
And
Moses is
Morgan
huge.
Moses
Moses is-
and,
yeah.
and Campbell are
Yeah.
regular sized tackles.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots
Bradbury
Unfiltered. We will be back next week.
I won't.
You won't.
No.
Well, you'll be here for the Commander's Joint practice, won't you?
Yeah. Hopefully.
So
But you can check
stay,
out
she's ever
stay
leaving.
tuned with Patriots.com and social for all the news. We got the in-stadium practice tomorrow that we'll be reporting on. So we'll give you everything we see there. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.